The longest night of the year has arrived for the iRacing.com Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products. Not one, but two. 200 lap races tonight at two different racetracks located in the southeast of the U.S. Two of the most historic short track racing venues in the nation host the Northwest Tour tonight, each for a 200 lap race. Here, first from Lanier Raceplex in Georgia, we go 200 laps. Hi, everybody. I'm Greg Rentz alongside with Charles Wooten live on LSR TV for the Atomic Screen Printing doubleheader here on LSR TV for the Northwest Tour. 400 laps of main event action brought to you here on LSR TV tonight. First, from right there, Lanier, where we're getting set to turn them loose for 200 laps. After this, we'll load up the hauler and we will head straight over to Langley, Virginia for race number 2 for the first ever series visit to Langley. And Charles, we're here in Georgia first off. Second time the series has come to this tight bull ring. This is the smallest track on the iRacing server as far as the oval goes. So, second visit to this track. What are you expecting out of this 200 lap race tonight?
First off, welcome alongside with you here. This track, I'm used to seeing it covered in dirt. We don't go here very often in any of the series we cover, as it's a very, very short track. It's a fun track, and we're going to see really, really fast lap times. So while it's 200 laps and you think 200 laps, that is, an astronomical amount of laps, it's not going to really be that many here. We were talking about it before we went live, which race we think is going to be the caution flag fiesta, which one's going to be the green flag. I think you said Langley's going to be the one. It might have been this one. Megan and Big's matched, flip-flopped, whatever there. But one of them, I think we're going to see good green flag racing. I personally think it's going to be this one.
So we'll see how it goes. Now, I actually picked Langley for the one to go clean, and here's why. Because in the B mains, which are already concluded, the one here at Lanier had 2 cautions in a 40-lap main event. The Langley one only had 1. In this race last year, went back and looked at the stats, 9 cautions in this race last year, but it still went very quickly because 200 laps at a 0.38 mile track, they click away very, very quickly here, Charles. We're running 13.9 second laps, top of the board right now, which just so happens to be the guy that won this race last year at Lanier. We're talking about Travis Barnes, of course, in the number 8, 1 win on the season that came at Milwaukee. So Barnes going to be very, very strong, no doubt. Has shown a lot of speed this season. Now he's headed back to a track that he won at last year. No doubt going to be looking to make some noise again tonight. 13.947. He's on top of the charts right now, but we had a little bit of a surprise here in qualifying at Langley. We'll go more on that here later on when we get there, but we did have some history made in qualifying at Langley. We'll talk more about that coming up and when we head to that 200 lap race. But Charles, 200 laps here at Lanier, going to be a long but not long, if you will. Cole Raz sitting 4th in practice right now. He had to race his way into the B main. He won that B main. No doubt he's going to be looking to come through the back from 17th starting position. Cole Raz is going to have some speed tonight.
Yeah, Cole Raz, no matter where you go, he is somebody you have to watch out for. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with. That being said, I do, kid with Cole Raz and Caden Anderson a lot, because we've noticed if Cole Raz is in the race, Anderson takes second usually if they're running 1 and 2, because Cole Raz gets him. However, if you notice when Cole Raz isn't there, Caden Anderson sometimes picks up the win. So those two have a lot of racing history together, and they're good friends, but even better competitors. They're fierce competitors, so it's really good to see if we can get those two side by side. I think we're going to have the battle of the century going on between them.
We will definitely see Travis Barnes into that wrinkle as well. And a surprise right now up at the top. How about Troy Tarbuck up 4th in practice right now, turning a lot of heads. He's a guy who's had a hard time getting out of the B main this season. He's been able to do it about half the time, and yet here he is up in the top 5 in practice right now. Now, Charles, something to hit on for this race, the Lanier race number 1 of this doubleheader presented by Atomic Screen Printing. We are going to have 20 5 cars in this race. There was an incident in the B main in which went to review board real quickly, and the ultimate vote was to put an extra car in because a driver that was involved in the incident did not tap. It was determined that he should have tapped, so instead of having him not start the B main, they went with that, but they added the first driver out, which was Dylan Huffines. So Dylan Huffines will start 25th on this race as kind of the 7th man, if you will. A very rare thing. This is only the 2nd time in series history that this has been done. We've added an extra car in because a driver should have tapped. It was determined by unanimous vote by the review board, did not tap. They decided to allow him to keep it, but he is on probation for the night. He's already got his 1 strike for 200 laps. Dylan Huffines, though, getting that starting spot, starting 25th on the night. He will be at the tail end to start this race.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and one of those things. That is one thing, we talk about, we harp on it a ton here in this series, is tap out rule penalties. And they are very, very strict on penalties. Probably one of the strictest on penalties that I've ever broadcast. And, if it doesn't get tapped out there, someone doesn't claim it, like you said, it does go to the review board, which is made up of top secret little elves that go in there and vote. But you never know who they are. And if you're involved in it, obviously you're not going to be on it. But those top secret elves there, they vote. And sometimes if you do something bad on the track, it's not in your favor.
Yeah, definitely, Charles. The review board, and again, it's always mixing too. It's always changing. Just because someone's on it one week doesn't mean they're going to be on it the next. So that's what makes this series so special with their penalty enforcement. Is it makes it to where these guys are constantly on their toes. You have no idea who's on the review board in any given week, so you don't know if the guy you're involved in is on the review board and is attention to whether or not you tap out or not. So that's what makes this series so much fun. I think you're going to see 2 very, very well-disciplined races here tonight with the tap out rule. The drivers have gotten used to it by now, talking, of course, about the record-setting number of rookies that we have in this series. 30 drivers attempted both races here tonight. We're going to start 25 tonight, 24 in the next one. Lineups are already set. We have already concluded both races. There are some drivers who are in this race here at Lanier that will not be in the Langley race and vice versa. We'll have to give you the full rundown of that at that time. But practice is underway. We're going to step aside and take a quick chance to thank a couple of our great partners for putting this together, because when we come back, we are going to be getting set for 200 laps here at Lanier Raceplex before heading over to Langley for race number 2. Long night here on LSR TV. Thanks for joining us. You're watching live on LSR TV, your home for sim racing.
ETE Reman is the world's best remanufacturer of transmissions for import and domestic cars and trucks. Based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, our customers are repair shops, auto parts stores, dealerships, and distributors. And with 6 nationwide warehouses, we're where and when you need us. So when you're looking for a transmission that is like new, only better, instill confidence and install ETE Reman.
Welcome back to Lanier Raceplex, ladies and gentlemen. We are about 3 minutes out from the grid for our first race of the night. Again, this is a 0.38 mile oval. This track is the shortest racetrack on the iRacing server on the oval side, and believe that does make it one of, if not the shortest track on the server. There are a couple of road courses, believe it or not, on the server that are hovering right around that distance. It's kind of amazing to watch them all unfold. And take it from me, Charles, the guy who's actually gotten to race on a couple of them, it's very, very unique racing on a road course that size. But tonight, we're on the oval. It's a tight little bull ring. We love these tight little bull rings. This is what we've been trying to gear LSR TV towards here, moving forward, is short track racing, both pavement and dirt. And this is going to be a premier night of that. 200 lap short track, beating and banging, bumper to bumper, super late model races.
Yeah, you look at the talent at LSR TV, and three of our main people, of course, yourself, Wesley, myself, all of us, specializing in short track racing. We love it. And yes, this is a plug. If you have a short track league out there, we want you. We're like the government. Well, that's what this whole saying. We want you. Yes, we want you. Bring your stuff over to here. Find us a night we're free. If not, we will find a night. Some way, somehow, we will get you here on LSR TV. We absolutely love short track racing, dirt racing. That's just what we do. It's what we do in real life, so we look forward to it. But like you mentioned, time is expiring here very shortly.
And we got a big wreck in turn number 2, so hopefully these guys are working those bugs out now.
Yeah, they definitely want to get them worked out now. And real quickly, just heard from those sponsors, and we are always evolving the broadcast here to better it for the fans. And periodically, you're going to see something. If Greg, you can see it too up on the left-hand side of your screen. Periodically, you're going to see stuff like this pop up. Joe's Racing Products. We don't have our Joe's Racing Products pit reporter here tonight for Wesley Outland. He is at
He's at Cherokee.
Cherokee, there we go.
He's playing in the dirt in South Carolina.
Yeah, he's playing in the dirt here tonight, so we will bring up Joe's Racing Products from time to time. Unfortunately, he is not with us here tonight. And, of course, the sponsor for tonight's race, Atomic Screen Printing and Embroidery. Make sure you check them out. And I know you are very familiar with this company as well.
Yeah, if you're involved in racing in the Northwest, like myself, and probably 95% of our drivers are, you've heard the name Atomic Screen Printing. I actually was curious earlier today, so I counted how much merchandise from Atomic Screen Printing I have, which is hoodies and sweatshirts. I counted 17 pieces of material courtesy of Atomic Screen Printing, race t-shirts, race sweatshirts over the years. 17 in my personal wardrobe of what I wear on a daily basis to work, to the racetrack. Some aspect, pretty much almost every day, I'm wearing an Atomic Screen Printing sweatshirt, a t-shirt of some kind from the racetracks. They have been such great supporters for so many years here in the Northwest, putting together so many great event t-shirts, sweatshirts, and shameless plug here, I also happen to work for him at one of my tracks here, Hermiston Raceway, same group. We're hoping to get the Red Mountain Event Center, also known as Tri-City Raceway. We're hoping that comes back sometime in the near future. All the same group. Give them a shout. Atomic Screen Printing, huge supporters of racing in the Northwest. And now we're so excited to bring that relationship to sim racing and have them on board for the Joe's Racing Products Northwest Tour.
Yeah, and we know that, you've had a hectic week at work, so keep in mind, folks, he probably has more than 17 pieces of clothing article from Atomic. With the hectic week he's had, he may have either stopped counting or it may have just overwhelmed his brain a little bit. Again, he's had a hectic week at work, so definitely check him out. Atomic Screen Printing and, of course, Joe's Racing Products, both of them sponsoring this race and this series. And Greg, it's time to go racing.
Yes, sir. We have moved to the grid here. So, 2 pace laps. We're going to try to rattle this off. It's the ComServe Wireless starting lineup, and look at how far back these cars wrap around this 3/8 mile track. We're going to roll things off with the guy who's finished or qualified 16th on the board. Talking, of course, about B.J. Tidrick in the number 72. Keep your eyes on the young man starting to his outside here, Charles. Garrett Archer, one of the rising stars in the Northwest, has been so close so many times to that big breakthrough win in real life. Always a threat here in the short track scene. We'll see how he does. He starts outside front row. We'll go forward to time, pick up Travis McKinney in the number 48 winner at Rockingham last year. Birthday boy, Isaiah Gill. Happy 19th birthday going out to Isaiah. He starts 4th.
In row number 3, going to be Eric Cheney. We'll see how he does in the 76 machine of Brock Denny in the 64 on his outside. Tucker will be alongside of him, I'm sure, along with the 41 of Levi Allen and Jason Day in the number 52.
Keep your eye on Caden Anderson in the number 37. A non-points race here back in December. He picked up the victory in that. Bryce Beatty going to start alongside him in 10th. Shane Quinn in the number 4. 2 wins on the season, tied for the most with Anderson. He's got Bart Hector Jr. looking for a bounce back after a heartbreak a couple of weeks ago. As the run to green, we're going to have to rattle this off. Travis Barnes, Ellie Musgrave, Troy Tarbuck, and Casey Garber rounding out the top 16. B-May winner Cole Raz, Josh Childress, Gary Smith, Chris Carroll, Ian Holloway, Dylan Huffines going to the back from last week are Frazier, Washington, and Reynolds as the green flag is out. We're underway here at Lanier. Let's kick some asphalt. Already 4 laps in the books, working lap number 5. That's how quickly they're going to click away here at Lanier as they all follow single file. Now Tidrick has led the first 4 laps. One car already coming down pit road. We'll look to see who it is. It's Bryce Beatty in the number 06. First car down on pit road. We'll see how it goes for him. As remember, this is a difficult pit road. You got to come in off of turn number 1, wrap all the way around back to turn number 1. Again, as the caution is out for the first time here tonight on lap number 7.
And it's a Brian Reynolds involved in it for sure.
Looks like it might be Hector as well in the 82 that is near the back there. Yes, Hector, who started 12th. A lot of damage to the left side of the number 82 car. Let's take a look at an LSR TV 4K Ultra HD replay. That's a mouthful, but here we see the 03 of Brian Reynolds in the Monster Energy Super Late. Oh, this started up in front of him as you see Hector facing the wrong way on the one-way up there. So we'll have to pick up the LSR TV Chevy of Bart Hector Jr. and see what happened here. That's Cole Raz alongside him. Oh, a check up there. Gary Smith gets a run, and they're fighting. All good here, and it was in turn number 4, so it'll be the lap after this. So a check up by Hector as he almost got together with Cole Raz. There you see Beatty on the inside coming up. Oh, Gary Smith gets by. And just a little bottleneck there, and I believe that was Josh Childress that got in the back of him. Gary Smith goes for a ride as well into number 79, but he hangs on to it. So some contact there, a little bit of a checkup, and Childress and Hector get up there into it in turn number 3.
That is definitely unfortunate for these guys. They don't want to get involved in anything early on. However, we have to stress, this is different than most nights. Most nights we come in here, we run 200 laps, we're done. We call it a night. We go get some chips and dip, and we go to bed. That's not how it works today here, Greg. They are going to be doing an average because there are two 200-lap races. Duels, you might say. We just got off duels, and now we're running more duels again, sort of. It's not really duels, but, it's it kind of is a duel in a way. You have two 200-lap races.
Yeah, 200 laps times 2 tonight, Lanier and Langley. I've been calling it the double L night here for LSR TV, but that didn't stick. BJ Tidrick going to lead him the green here. Already 12 laps going to be in the books when we take the green flag. Tidrick was able to clear Archer. Keep your eyes, though, on McKinney and Denny, two guys looking for that first win of the season. And for Denny, he's looking for a first career victory. Best career finish here is second. He got a big win on Wednesday night here on LSR TV. We'll talk a little bit more about that after we take the green flag, because we're back underway. Tidrick and Archer lead them off into turn number 1. And again, I told you, watch Archer in that number 5 car. One of the guys who always is a threat to win every single race he enters here in the Northwest, alongside a guy who's been that staple for years and years and even decades. BJ Tidrick into number 72 leading the way. Here comes McKinney to the inside. Gill trying to get around Denny there as Tidrick tries to pull away, but they're 2x2 most of the way back. Cheney with a little bit of a slide on the outside into number 76. Jason Day gets by. Here comes Caden Anderson. Look out, because Travis Barnes right behind them.
Yeah, and as we watch this battle unfold, we have to mention something here, Greg, that if you're not on iRacing, or if you are and live under a rock, you might not have noticed that Tuesday, week 13, the new build comes out. This car here is getting completely redone and updated for 2021. That means a couple of things. One, setup's going to be totally different. These cars are going to handle different. We already know that the weather here, it's 140 degrees because they want these cars to handle like they do in real life. Is that new update going to affect that? Is the car going to handle more like it should? And two, we already heard this from all the guys. Every one of these guys is probably going to have to get a new paint job.
Yes, because the big update visually, we're going to the Gen 5 body for the Super Late model. So the season finale, which is our next broadcast for the Northwest Tour, only one race left after tonight. Can you believe it, Charles? Seems like just yesterday we were kicking things off at USA. But this, the last race weekend of this body style for the Northwest Tour. Next time we go live on LSR TV with a Super Late model race for the Northwest Tour, or any Super Late model race, because this is the last scheduled one until Tuesday night. All we have scheduled for tomorrow is a big one for the Northwest as well. We'll talk again more about that. But this is the last scheduled Super Late model race on LSR TV of this body style. When we come back, next time we go live with the Super Late model, it's going to be that brand new Gen 5 body. Just one of several updates they're doing to the Super Late model. This car is not going to be anywhere near the same as it was when you see it tonight. So looking forward, no doubt, to New Smyrna and seeing what happens with the Super Late model. And I'm very curious to answer your question, what the driving is going to be like. A lot of these guys are wondering that same thing. How is the car going to drive? Is it going to drive more, like you said, in tune to real life Super Late model racing? There's only one way to find out, and that's climb behind the wheel.
Yeah, and I know myself, I will be behind the wheel. I probably won't be the best judge of how it drives, but you have to know us to know that one. But these guys are handling it really good. We talk about it all the time. The track temp, 143 degrees. In the last 10 laps, Greg, it has gone up 3 degrees already. It is a hot racing surface. They do this to make these cars loose and free, and they want to turn. And what that does, you think, logically in your head, well, that's just going to cause them to wreck. Well, it doesn't. It causes people to actually slow down and drive them instead of just over driving them, and it works out perfectly. That's what we're doing, and that's what we want to see if that changes with this new build. But right now, they're doing a fantastic job as you've got Brock Denny, and I believe that's Cole Raz right behind Ellie Musgrave, who got around them. And this battle is still on, and look who else is in there. You got Eric Cheney in the 76 doing a very good job.
Eric Cheney in a little bit of a different look here tonight. He's in the blue number 76 that Mike Wood painted for him of Mike Wood Race Designs. Now, we say that's different because anyone who knows Eric Cheney over the years here, he's right around where I live, about 20 miles from my door to his door, which is why when he brought me the Taco Bell dinner after a truck race tonight, it didn't take him that long for that delivery. But anyone who knows Cheney from over the years knows his color is purple, bright purple race cars, both on iRacing and in real life. So when Mike Wood painted that blue design, he almost had to take a second look, and I was actually the one who said, no, dude, that car is blue. That is not purple. And he had to go back and take a second look at it. He actually really likes that paint scheme. That's why he went with it tonight. Another fantastic job by Mike Wood of Mike Wood Race Designs, who has painted so many cars in this class here tonight.
Brock Denny just scraped the wall, and to your point there, I really figured his color would have been yellow, but
I get that. I understand that reference.
Inside jokes there for anyone that doesn't know, but yeah, right as you were talking there, you can see the damage, and then now we're going to get more.
Barnes. Yeah, Travis Barnes and Jason Day get together. Day's going to be the big loser in that one, but he hangs on to it. Keep it going there. Denny, you're watching the 64 right now. 3 wide with Garber and Huffines battling it out. They're still 3 wide. No doubt your points leader, and we are calling him our unofficial champion because the consensus generally in the pits is Chris Carroll, and the 97 has locked up the title. We're still waiting for the official word, but the general consensus in race control and everybody down there is Chris Carroll has locked up the season 4 championship for the tour in that number 97 car. As you watch Dylan Huffines battle out with Brock Denny and Casey Garber right there. Garber, of course, winner at Iowa earlier this year. Huffines and Denny, 2 guys searching for their first wins on the year. We have our second caution on lap 37.
And diagnosed for it as it is Isaiah Gill, who was doing good.
No, the birthday boy. Turning 19 years old today. Let's take a look at what happened. Was up in the 3rd position when this happened at 4K Ultra HD replay.
Yeah, that is unfortunate right there. He gets into the back of the 48, and then I believe he just gets tagged as well.
Just trying to check up there. By the way, we do have an opening on LSR TV. If you want your logo to be shown every time we go to replay, hit us up on LSR TV, shoot us a message, and we can get you pointed in the right direction, and you could be the new replay sponsor here on LSR TV, along with all kinds of different openings. Make sure you shoot us a note on Facebook or shoot us an email, and we will get you pointed in the right direction and get you involved here on the LSR TV family. So taking another look here from the spotter stand, and you see right there, yeah, just a little bit of contact between Gill, gets in the back of McKinney, and unfortunately, Gill has to check up, and Levi Allen in the 41 had nowhere to go in that one.
Yeah, and, definitely on your point there, like we said, we do have an opening for that caution sponsor, and if you want to get in on it, get a hold of us as quickly as you can. Obviously, hey, if you can get a hold of us tonight, that's a premium spot right now, especially with what we have coming up. We have 2 Daytona races coming up with 225 laps, I believe it is, at Daytona.
225 miles.
225 miles. There we go.
80 laps.
80 laps. For both. So both of those, and Daytona, there's going to be a handful of cautions at each one of them. So definitely a prime spot to be getting in there here on LSR TV. It doesn't come up very often, but when it does, it usually goes pretty fast. So we'll see if it does this time.
And hey, we won't even be opposed to just saying, hey, if you just want it for these 2 Daytona races coming up on Monday night and Wednesday night, and just say, hey, I just want to do it now just to see how I like it, we'll do that. We'll cut you a deal for a 2-race special if you really want. But that's not the only broadcast we got coming up. We've got a full week here on LSR TV coming your way. We'll talk a little bit more about what all we got planned as we go back under green for the 3rd time. Here we're back underway. Already, Charles Charles. Almost a quarter of the way in this one, working lap number 43 of 200.
Yeah, quarter of the way, just almost in the books of 200. We have 158 laps to go, and just as I say that, we come to the line. Let's make it 157 laps to go.
See the contact between McKinney and Allen off of turn number 4 there. Slipping and sliding, but they hang on to it. Now, Charles, I'm not sure if you're seeing it, but on my end, I'm starting to see the marbles really come in on the high groove. We saw this at Oxford earlier this year. We saw this at Irwindale and Lucas Oil earlier in the year. The marbles really beginning to come into play here the later this race goes. When these guys start slipping up the track and they start catching those marbles later in the race, they are going to be going for a ride if they're not careful.
Yeah, and there you go. There's a perfect view of it here. And you can see just as they come out, all those marbles. It looks like little black dots on your screen. No, there's not pixels out. That is all the rubber and marbles and junk off these tires that is just building up. It's basically one groove at the bottom is where it's not at. So you got to ask yourself, Greg, if and when will anybody move up that track? And if they do so, they're going to have to get into those marbles at some point and try to fluff them up to the top of the track.
No, I think you're going to see a race very, very similar to Oxford, where it was one groove down on the bottom. If you wanted to make a pass, you had to get your nose in there on a straightaway and start your pass there. By the way, who won that race at Oxford? Well, back-to-back years, it was the 37 of Caden Anderson. He started 9th. He's up to 3rd already. One of the biggest movers of the race. Looking at the numbers right now, if the numbers do indeed don't lie, like a certain pro wrestler by the name of Scott Steiner once said, I believe our biggest mover is going to be the number 8 of Travis Barnes. Started 13th up to 4th, battling for that 4th spot right now with Levi Allen.
Yeah, there's good battles all over this track. Again, they'll get single file. We're going to kind of expected that coming into this race. But then at the same time, you have these good battles going on, like you see right now between the 41 as he slides up just a little bit and the 8 of Travis Barnes. That is, of course, Levi Allen. Travis Barnes, you go back just a little bit. No contact between them. A little bit of a hip check there from Allen and Barnes racing it out, and look what that did. That allowed Archer to get right in there. By the way, we have another guy who's made quite a bit of headway up through the field. You're talking about B main winner Cole Raz in the number 21, started 17th, got as high as 8th, but Jason Day was able to get back by him, so Cole Raz back to 9th, but still making a charge through the field. He's got Josh Childress behind him in that Nations Guard number 80 tonight. He's got that Kyle Larson paint scheme on, and hey, it's already proven good today. Kyle Larson, first win back in the Cup Series. Earlier today, granted, he was in the Ricky Hendrick tribute, HendrickCars.com Chevy, but that is the paint scheme that he ran in the first 3 races on the number 80 car of Childress. And who knows, maybe he's thinking, well, Larson's got to win. I'm in a Larson car. Maybe I can transfer that over tonight. Yeah, probably one of the greatest of all time. You know, I honestly think if Kyle Larson stays in NASCAR, he will probably be in, you know, a lot of people will probably give me flack for this, but I think he'll be the next, you know, Dale Earnhardt Sr. He's that good. You know, he's just a talented driver, so definitely looking forward to seeing that one.
I'm going to argue that one because I do not compare him to Dale Sr., Chris Carroll to the inside of Josh Childress. I compare Kyle Larson to my all-time favorite driver, Tony Stewart, a guy who can get in any car. Caution is out. Caden Anderson, doors shot into the turn 1 wall. Anderson may have gotten together with Travis McKinney. We'll talk more about Young Money, Kyle Larson in a minute. We got to take a look back at what happened with Caden Anderson here. LSR TV 4K Ultra HD replay. And again, remember, we want your logo there. If you want your logo there, we want your logo there. Let us know and make us a deal. All kinds of openings. You want to be the sponsor of the pre-race show, we'll do it. Come and talk and have a chat with us, and we'll get something going. McKinney with a big slide there of turn number 3. Oh!
He hip checked him.
That's it. We say hip check quite a bit. That is a hip check. And Travis McKinney saying, nope, that was me. I'm tapping. McKinney with a tap. So he will fall to the back, and that will be that. So that will move Levi Allen up into 2nd place. Archer back to 3rd now after falling outside of the top 5, trying to recover. Here, let's go back and talk a moment there about Kyle Larson, because I was saying he reminds me of Tony Stewart, a guy who can climb into any car on any night and win. That is the kind of vibe that Kyle Larson or gives me the same vibe I got off of a young Tony Stewart. So I don't foresee Larson being the next Dale Earnhardt. I definitely consider him the next Tony Stewart.
You know, I will agree with you on there. And for the sole purpose that, yeah, you know, if you go do the back history, you know, Tony Stewart, one of the greatest, and he could get in anything and win. He started on dirt, and he worked his way to NASCAR. Kyle Larson, you know, I don't even say he's a dirt racer. He just goes to dirt tracks and wins. That's just what he does. But, you know, he's a dirt track racer, and he's used that to his advantage, I think, in NASCAR. As everyone saw there, when he was put on timeout, we'll say, from NASCAR, he said, okay, and went and dominated the dirt scene again. So, yeah, I agree. He is one of those that can just jump in anything and do good.
Yeah, Larson definitely a guy you're going to have to keep an eye on. But there's quite a few drivers. Look at this. We're going single file here for this one as we're back underway. Titterick has led all 63 laps that have concluded so far. As we go back underway. Ooh, Barnes with a big shove on Archer. Archer's not going to like that very much as we settle things down, though. 65 laps in the books. Titterick's led them all thus far. But, man, this is getting dicey up front.
Yeah, it's getting very dicey. And, you know, keep in mind, we're 136 laps to go. We are closing in on the halfway point now very quickly. 36 laps to go, and we will be there. They're just accordion right now. They're just bumper. They're not really beating and banging, but they are bumping, and then, you know, two more bump in there. So it's more like a little bitty miniature accordion right now going on at the front of this track.
Settle things down. Look at Ellie Musgrave up there in 5th right now, Charles. What a great couple of runs she has had over the last month or so in that number 23 car. And we said we'd talk about it here in a little bit. I wanted to try to wait until Langley, but Ellie Musgrave made history tonight. She set fast time for Langley, our first ever female fast time winner. Ellie Musgrave in the number 23 set it at Langley tonight. She's up to 5th here at Lanier. This is probably her best track on iRacing, I would have to say, Charles. I've raced with her in Legends, in late models, and a couple of other different cars, but I gotta say, every time we come to Langley, you know she's going to be a threat, and she's showing why here in the super late model. I would dare say this is her best racetrack, and the momentum that she's on right now, building momentum over the last few weeks, coupling it with a fast time in the later race tonight at Langley. Watch out for Musgrave. We might see something tonight.
Yeah, if she beats these boys at the track, then I think for that final race, it's since we're all gonna have to do new paint jobs anyway, we're gonna have to get a hold of Mike Wood, and I don't know, he tends to frequent the chat during these races, so if he's out there watching, I personally think if she beats them, we need to have little bumper stickers put on or on the back of her car that says, "Silly boys, you just got beat by a girl."
And that is a Mike Wood car that Ellie Musgrave is driving right now. One of many in the field. And as I look around, one of those cars, that is a Mike Wood car, just got turned up there in turn number 2. That's Levi Allen in the number 41. We go caution for what I believe is the 4th time tonight, and he may have had some help here.
Yeah, I believe he probably did, as we'll take a quick look and see here. Of course, that LSR TV 4K Ultra HD replay. Looking better with your logo on there, of course. But we'll see, and definitely something happened here.
Right there, contact with Garrett Archer. Around goes Allen.
Take one more look above from the blimp view, of course, thanks to All-American pools. And I think, Greg, this may have been another chain reaction here.
Oh, taking a look right there. There's the contact with Archer. Barnes checks up. I think Musgrave got a piece of it as well. But the big loser there definitely was Levi Allen. And it looks like Archer has tapped on that one. And oops, so this is kind of interesting. They went to give Garrett Archer the EOL. They accidentally gave the EOL penalty to Bryce Beatty in the number 07, so they had to correct that. So Archer is going to get the EOL penalty here, but they accidentally gave it to Beatty in the number 41. And Archer is already at the back. He has not even officially been assigned the EOL penalty yet. He just went to the back and said, nope, that was on me.
Yeah, and it's you might think, well, just take the penalty back. Unfortunately, you can't do that on iRacing. Once the penalty has been issued, it's like, in insulting someone. You can't take it back, so it's unfortunate. But what they can do, of course, is they could leave him in his spot and then just clear his black flag. But that's easier said than done when you're going around this track at, 100 miles an hour, 100 plus. And those are the same guys that are, giving those EOLs. So it's a very difficult task.
And here's the thing I'm wondering, as we get set to go back green, there was never an official penalty assigned to Archer. I'm wondering if all these drivers are going to get a black flag here on this restart. This could get very interesting as we go off into turn number 1, back underway. Barnes, defending winner of this race, trying to get down to the bottom of Tidrick to take the lead. Little bit of contact. Tidrick able to save it. Barnes does a nice job backing up, keys up and says, hey, that was my fault. I apologize. No harm, no foul. They keep going.
Yeah, they do keep going here as we're watching this battle. Cole Raz and that 21 and the 52 of Jason Day side by side. And it just, again, proves just how good these guys are, and we've kind of leveled out on track temps. Only 144 degrees. It hasn't gone up but 1 degree in the last 70 laps or so. So
it's up to 145 now, as you say that.
Yeah, see, the track proving me wrong here. 145 degrees. And I believe that is the perfect internal temperature for a steak. So, Greg, if you want to run down there real fast and slap some on, we'll have a nice dinner in between these races.
Yeah, let's go. I mean, myself and Eric Cheney had a couple of arguments over the last couple of weeks over the prime degree for steak and medium rare. Of course, my vote. Cheney likes it a little bit more, and I said, well, if you wanted beef jerky, all you got to do is just go to the store. That's just me. But Travis Barnes battling it out for the race lead. Ellie Musgrave, though, up to third. Keep your eyes on that 23 car. The teenager out of the Seattle area, she may turn some heads here tonight again. Her best track. She already has made history twice this season. First female to win the Northwest Tour sanctioned event, a B main in Iowa. Tonight, making history. First female to get fast time in a Northwest Tour race. Could she become the first female A main winner tonight? She is up to third after starting 14th right now.
By the way, I'm knocking on my desk, which is made of solid pine wood, before I say this, and that is...
Oh, more contact.
Yeah, contact between the front two, and that is... I really hope nothing happens. She's had good runs, but just also had a good run of bad luck when it comes to connection issues and stuff happening. So again, knocking on wood, that doesn't happen tonight. She's doing a fantastic job. But right now, she's not in the spot that I'd want to be in, and that is a side-by-side battle for the lead, and you're stuck right behind them.
Yeah, and especially with how they've gotten together a couple of times, the contact between Barnes and Tidrick. No doubt Musgrave kind of a little nervous right there. And if I'm Musgrave, I'm a little nervous looking in my mirror also, because look who has crept his way up to fourth and is now putting pressure on Musgrave. Cole Raz, winner at Nashville earlier this season. Southwest Tour driver in real life, but because he resides in Lake Oswego, Oregon, is eligible for the Northwest Tour. He's putting pressure on Musgrave. He won the B main here earlier. Can he become the first driver this season to win the B main and then go through and win the A main? It's happened before, but not this year. Cole Raz could become the first one to do it. He's taking a peek inside of Musgrave, who in turn takes a peek to the outside of Tidrick.
Yeah, these guys. Oh, and there goes the 72 around.
And the caution is out.
Caution is out. The question is, was there contact, and is Ellie Musgrave going to take credit for it? We got to go back and
Let's take
look.
a peek. Let's take a peek. LSR TV 4K Ultra HD replay. That is a mouthful, race fans. Let's get a new sponsor for that. So do us a favor. Okay, right there. That's borderline. I don't know if there was contact or not. If not, you could slip the piece of paper. Oh, that looked like our old friend Netcode to me. I saw about a foot and a half worth of space there. That to me, well, I'm gonna have to take another look at it. Maybe from another angle, but to me, Charles, that looked like our old friend Mr. Netcode came back once again.
Yeah, that was definitely Netcode.
That was definitely Netcode. Oh boy.
And the question is, will she tap
yet? No tap yet. The only thing that happened... Oh, there it is. She tapped. So Ellie Musgrave tapping in the number 23. The good news is we're not even halfway through this race yet, so she will be able to charge through the field. But, man, that's got to be a tough one. And no doubt, all incidents will be reviewed by the review board. And I think when they go back, they're going to see that that was a case of netcode that we saw on our end here. So that's definitely got to be a heartbreaker for Ellie Musgrave. The good news is we know she's got a fast car, and she's got fast time already tonight at Langley. So no doubt when we go to that 200 lap race, she's going to be a force to be reckoned with. Charles, do you realize we're already 4 laps from halfway in this race?
Yeah, it is insane how quickly we have got to where we're at halfway in this race. Again, we knew it was going to go fast. We've been live about an hour or so, and of course a bunch of that was a pre-show as the green flag comes back out, but it's going to be a little bit longer of a night, I think, but it really comes down to how many cautions we've had, and we've had a handful of them here already here at Lanier.
At 4. Now, a bunch of drivers, and we were in this bet included, all said how many cautions for the first race. The general consensus was 5 to 7, and then you had to go open your big mouth and say 22.
Hey.
We're at 4 right now in this race for those keeping track. 4 cautions so far, I think. 4 or 5?
If you can't keep track, then we're just going to say it's 22.
No, we're not going to do that because that means it's time for me to go to bed. We still have a 200 lap race to go. Hey, by the way, we have our biggest crowd in a while watching at home. 50 people, and I just saw 52 on the YouTube side at one point. So it's our biggest crowd in a while. And remember, other than a couple of major dirt events over the years on LSR TV, this series has had some of our biggest crowds. So definitely good to see a high number once again. And we'd like to say hello to all you guys watching at home and hope you're enjoying tonight's Atomic Screen Printing doubleheader. This, of course, race number 1 of it, just past halfway, and we're at Lanier. We're gonna click some laps away here as we're settling it down. Just past halfway, we're gonna give ourselves a chance to rest our voice because we've got a lot of racing still to go. We're gonna crank it up, and we are going to kick some asphalt. Travis Barnes leading the way, but Cole Raz trying to reel him in here on lap 104. 110 of 200 laps in the first race here of the Atomic Screen Printing doubleheader here at Lanier Raceplex, with Langley coming up immediately after that. Travis Barnes, defending winner of this race, has worked his way back out front, but Cole Raz in second. BJ Tidrick, Chris Carroll, and Jason Day rounding out the top 25. I'd like to say hello to some people in the chat. As always, Aunt Kathy is here. Robert Richardson saying hello. And Hermiston Raceway, the same ownership group as Atomic Screen Printing, one of my 2 tracks in the Northwest I get to work at. They're checking out the racing tonight. So a big thank you to them for not only checking us out, but for their support all season long, because they have sponsored this series not once but twice. They sponsored the race earlier this year under the Hermiston banner, now Atomic Screen Printing. Great to have them on board here this season. We look forward to keeping that relationship going in the future, Charles, as we got a battle for third. Tidrick and Day battling it out now. Fourth, excuse me.
These guys are duking it out. And, of course, we also want to give a shout-out to Joe's Racing Products on board here for this season. And this battle is definitely heating up as they go side by side. Smith and Smith and the 72. That is BJ Tidrick. That's actually going to go back just a little bit. Casey Garber right there with him, as too is Brock Denny racing, and Brock's doing a very good job here, sitting in the top 10. You know, we may have to protest that and see if Tucker's really driving that car.
I was going to say, well, Tucker's definitely got his work cut out for him. See, the problem for Tucker right now is he doesn't have Wesley taking him on a field trip. So that's what's going on right now. Denny's able to have a good run because Tucker's not distracted by Wesley having the milk bones and bringing him up to the top of the hill at Phoenix this week like he did last week. He got to go on the field trip. That was the problem for Denny last week. And he's got Tucker grounded. He's had him in the pit stall all day. And look at that. He just got around Tidrick for 7th, trying to fight his way back up. Remember, he was up as high as 3rd earlier in this race, has fallen back outside of the top 10. Now he's climbed his way back in the 7th. Speaking of climb, Bardactor Jr., remember, he brought up that first caution all the way back on lap 3, having a rough start to the race. He has climbed back to 12th, which is where he started. So Bardactor Jr., left side damage and all in that number 82 LSR TV Camaro right there, battling with another LSR TV Camaro, Seth Frazier. Those two climbing through the field slowly but surely up to 12th and 13th. Caden Anderson also climbing. So a couple drivers who started deep in the field or found themselves deep in the field are climbing their way back up now.
Yeah, and you know, we normally would have that Joe's Racing Product pit reporter, Wesley Outland, but he unfortunately stuck as we got a problem in the concession stand area. And that is unfortunate for Gary Smith as we go back and take a look. And there was a lot of smoke there, so I'm not sure what happened.
Maybe some contact. We'll take a look at another LSR TV 4K Ultra HD replay. Your home for sim racing. I'm in 4K. So there you see Smith facing the wrong way on the one-way up there. That's Casey Garber behind him. Let's take a look at what happened. It was off of turn number 4. This is going into turn number 1. So we'll take a look. Smith right there in the 79. Garber right behind him. They come through. Was there contact?
I
think we're gonna have to go to the All-American Pools aerial cam here to figure this out for sure. I think this is gonna tail the tail right here. All aerial coverage brought to you by All-American Pools. You see the number 79 of Smith and Garber, the black 96 right behind him, right there. Just the slightest amount of contact.
Yeah, and it's so subtle too. Again, we'll look at as many angles as we can, and why not? Let's go look at this one. You can see the gearbox camera here on board, and right there, that's the shot that gets him.
Right there, and you see him sliding around, and the Nation's Card entry of Josh Childress squeaking by, and hello to Johnson Electric as well. Jackson Electric, excuse me. Johnson Electric is a sponsor of the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, my other racetrack here. That's Jackson Electric right up there here at Lanier.
Well, I don't know them, but I know Steel Series on the other side of the wall. I
see O'Reilly Auto Parts. I know them.
Yeah, we know the auto parts, and we'll see what other ones are on the wall.
I think I see Longhorn Barbecue up there. Great Clips. We all know Great Clips. I mean, I don't have that problem anymore. Going bald at 23 problems. but don't have that problem anymore. So great clips up there on the wall. I saw NASCAR. I mean, what's NASCAR? Do you know what that is?
I don't know. I've never heard of them.
I was going to say, I heard it's something that happens every weekend. Let's see. Those are about the only ones I recognize. Of course, I live in Washington. You live in Texas. This is down in Georgia, so this is a lot closer to your neck of the woods than it is my neck of the woods. Pace car is off. I do know that's a Ford Mustang, and I do know Travis Barnes is taking the green flag on lap 129 of 200.
Yeah, and again, wrapping up 72 laps to go is all that remains in this race right now. It is coming together very, very quickly here tonight. Of course, we still have 200 more laps to go at Langley here after this one, so the night's still young.
Yeah, we still have 270 laps of racing to go, grand total. Plus, we got a little bit of a practice session at Langley because remember, there are some drivers that will be in that Langley race that are not in this race, and vice versa. A couple of drivers in the Lanier race that is going right now will not be in the Langley race. It's all about how they qualified. 2 separate qualifying sessions, 2 separate B main events that have already concluded. They already were run. So we'll see how it goes from there as the field continues to click away, though. Travis Barnes looking to have a repeat of last season. Remember, he won this race last year in dominating fashion as well in that number 8 car. Led pretty much the entire second half of the race. Took the lead on lap 95 and led from there. It was a huge accident that bottled up the entire field in this race last year that led to Travis Barnes getting the victory, but he did not have to contend with a guy named Cole Raz, and he did not have to contend with a guy named Chris Carroll, who has been so strong all year long. Charles, the way with how stacked this series was, how much talent there was, did you think with 3 races to go we'd be talking Chris Carroll already having the championship locked up? I sure as heck didn't.
No, I definitely did not think that. Much less wrapping up a chain. It's hard to even make a race in this series, much less already be talking about somebody wrapping up the championship. And to be honest, it feels like we just started this series. As he smacks the wall there, he's gonna do some damage. But it seems like we just started the series, and here we are 1 race away. Technically 2. We have Langley, and then 1 more race. And this season is done. Wrap it up, put a bow on it, put it under the Christmas tree. It is done.
Yeah, and that race coming up at New Smyrna, home of the World Series of Asphalt, as here comes Chris Carroll to the inside of Cole Raz. These two have traded barbs a couple of times this season, but that hit to the wall has done some damage to the 97 of Carroll because he is battling it out with Raz, and that right front is a little bit scrunched up on that number 97 car. By the way, I don't know if we hit it or not, but Casey Garber did tap on that last caution. Lap 140 of 200 for this first of 2 200-lap races. Barnes leading the way. Remember, last year, we just talked about it, he led the entire second half of the race, but some new contenders starting to make their way up to the front. How about Dylan Huffines in the number 7, started 22nd. He, remember, was originally not supposed to be in this race. He's having a little bit of connection issue, though. That's going to be a little bit nerve-wracking for the number 7 of Huffines, the Selah, Washington native. But remember, he got put in this race on a provisional because of an incident in the B main. They decided the fairest way to do it would be put Huffines in the race as the 7th man. He has climbed his way up into 7th position as he watched the battle for second continue between Cole Raz and Chris Carroll. Jason Day lurking back there in the 52. Remember, Day, he's looking for his best finish of the season as well.
Yeah, get everybody trying to get any and everything they can, knowing the season's coming to an end. And of course, a lot of these guys going to be going into real racing, and a lot of these guys going to be coming into Monday's race as well. Greg is, or at least into the Monday and Wednesday series. We know Travis Barnes, people like Cole Raz is going to be there, Brock Denny, BJ Tidrick, Dylan Huffines. A lot of these guys, Caden Anderson, they're going to be running on Monday and Wednesday in those series as well. So they've got a lot of work cut out for them to run triple duty here this week.
And That series that we're talking about that starts tomorrow night, of course, the Northwest Racing Series, the Cup and Truck Series from the Northwest. It's just kind of unofficially, Charles. I think you could say it's moved into more of a sister series with what we're seeing tonight, as they all have kind of fallen under the Northwest banner, if you will. Of course, the Northwest Racing Series has always been a staple of LSR TV, and of course, the previous incarnation Virtual Racing Network, which you were a part of, the Northwest Tour jumping over to LSR TV this year. And honestly, the Northwest as a whole has really just kind of come together as one, and we've got all of it here on LSR TV tomorrow night. Northwest Daytona 225, 80 laps, Cup cars at Daytona. We had 53 cars enter that race, and we're down to 43 that are going to take the green flag tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be a full field Monday and Wednesday. It's going to be crazy to see. And, of course, honestly, Greg, we could have a full field here of 43 cars, but this is short track racing. I don't think we'd want to see 43 cars on this track.
I don't want to do that, no. I've been in a legend race that had 35 cars at this track. As a matter of fact, myself and Bart Ecker Jr. did it. Bart qualified fast time out of 35 cars. I qualified 5th. We were running 1-2 at one point in that race, but 35 cars is going to take its toll, and we both wound up, unfortunately, not finishing that race. But, you know, that's 35 legend cars. I can't even imagine 43 super late models. Not doing it.
Yeah, I don't think I would want to put that many out there. I just got back, not this past weekend or the week before, doing a go-kart show, and it was 2 days, and of course, anybody around me knows where I was at and what I was filming. But they ran that race on a track that was about an eighth mile, maybe a little smaller. 18 500 open outlaws. If you don't know what those are, you need to Google them, YouTube them, something. Look up Red Bluff Outlaw Carts. Imagine 18 of these things on a smaller track, smaller than an eighth mile track. None of them had transponders. They had to score them by hand.
As my sister, who works with me at Hermiston Raceway, by the way, she's the scorer. She will tell you, hand scoring, no thank you. 18 of them on that. Nah, pass. Barnes leading the way into number 8. Carroll still trying to get around Cole Raz. He's gotten to his door a couple of times. He's got it again in the turn number 3 this time. They almost get together. And right now, Jason Day in that 52 and Brock Denny in the 64 right now, they're watching this battle going, come on, someone slip up. Someone slip up. Let me get a shot to try to get my nose in there and get second place for a 2-for-1, or in the case of Denny, a 3-for-1, as Raz with a little bit of a slide off of turn number 2. Let's go on board with the number 52 of Jason Day, who's right behind this battle. Let's go on board and see what he's seeing right now out of the windshield of that number 52. Look at this battle right now between Carroll and Raz. They almost get together, just a little bit of contact, not a whole lot, and Raz able to hold on to it, but Chris Carroll finally is able to clear the 21 of Raz and now set his sights on Travis Barnes. Carroll, 2 wins on the year, and he won the longest race of the year for the Northwest Tour, the Snowball Derby, full length, 300 laps. Now he's trying to reel him in here for the first of 2 200-lap races. He's got 40 laps with Travis Barnes in front of him, but look what's up in front of Travis Barnes. There is a lot, and I mean a lot, of lap traffic ahead of the 8 car right now.
Yes, we'll stay on board here with the 52 of Jason Day just for a minute. And something you pointed out a little bit earlier, I want to come back to, and that is, look at the bottom of this track. Look, you can see it right out his mirror. They're hitting right above it. Look at all the marbles and crap just basically coating that track down there.
Yeah, and it's not much different up at the top of the racetrack. And again, if you actually see outside of the car, you can see, yes, right here, you can see what I'm talking about. The groove is also coming in. That is the darker pavement right there that the cars are in. Very, very similar to what we saw at Oxford earlier this season for the Oxford 200, Charles. This is the same exact thing that we're going. And if you missed that race, go back in the archives and catch it, because we compare Oxford on here to Hermiston Raceway and as far as driving style goes. And we're seeing it once again here at Lanier as they start to pick their way through lap traffic. Chris Carroll has caught up to Travis Barnes. Oh, he caught the wall a little bit there. That's the second time he's caught the wall. That's going to help Barnes a little bit, but he's got heavy lap traffic ahead of him. Gary Smith, the USA winner, next up. But man, Chris Carroll, he is reeling and dealing, trying to catch up to Barnes right now. But Barnes, is going to go on defense as hard as he can right now. Barnes lost the race on tire management this year too. Remember, they are not allowed to take tires in this series. That's another thing you got to wonder. Tires. What's the situation on the 8? What's the situation on the 97? Who has more tires left at the end of this 200-lap run?
Yeah, you really have to be wondering that. Definitely. Who has tires? Again, 200 laps is the distance for race number 1. 200 laps for race number 2. And we are currently 32 laps away from completing this first race, making 31. So laps are just about done here for race number 1. And we'll do our best to talk to those top 3. But that second lobby is going to be going up fairly quick. So we're going to have to do it quick as these guys are getting ready to go into that one. At least some of them are. And I want to report here about Ellie Musgrave. She is currently in 15th. She's worked her way up, but just hasn't been able to get through.
She just got the Briar Reynolds. We're going to have a caution. No caution yet. No caution yet. We might be able to stay green here.
Now that you go back here, you look at the 04 of Troy Tarbuck. Looking at that 04 machine, Greg, I know you don't have Waterburger there, but I guess really not even Waterburger.
Briar Reynolds is going in reverse on the track to trigger a caution here. There it is. Briar Reynolds in the 03 Monster Energy car was going in reverse to try to trigger the caution here after contact with Musgrave. We'll have to go back on the LSR TV 4K Ultra HD replay a couple of laps to pick up both the initial incident and the ensuing incident. There you see Reynolds going backwards. There you see him backing up on the track. Now, this is the initial incident right here. You're talking about Musgrave. This was coming off of turn number 4. So you're taking the nose in right there. Just a little bit of contact with Reynolds. And then Reynolds stays there. No caution because he's below that yellow line. That yellow line is the racing surface. Much like what we saw in the Cup Series quite a bit. Below the racing surface did not trigger a yellow, so Reynolds facing the wrong way. We're still green at this point. And finally, Reynolds just says, you know what? No, I'm just going to put it in reverse and come up above the racing surface right there. That was the yellow right there.
Yeah, that's one of those things that is going to get very interesting for the review board. It's unfortunate that the caution did not come out for you. However, what's the ruling going to be called on that? Yes, it absolutely stinks you didn't get the caution, but at the same time, you then deliberately brought out the caution. So you've got to wonder what that would do. I know if that was at our local track here, it would stink that you got spun out, but you would receive a black flag and you would probably be removed from the race.
And here's the thing, Briar Reynolds was already having one strike entering this race because of something that happened in the B main as well. He did tap and did say he would take an EOL penalty for that. But this just got very, very interesting, like you said, because unfortunately, review's not going to take place until after the Langley race. So we're going to have an entire second race in the books before that even gets reviewed by the review board, because remember, the members of the review board, we don't know who they are, but they're in this race. We don't know who the review board is this week, but here we go. Green flag coming for a 22-lap shootout. Travis Barnes, a big jump for him on the restart as Carroll spun the tires, and Cole Raz is going to try to take advantage.
Yeah, that's definitely not what you want to do. You do not want to spin those tires, especially with somebody like Cole Raz behind you. Chris Carroll. We're getting them all tangled up there. Carroll Day. Oh! Carroll's going to be spinning his day at the rear of this
field. We got ourselves a pile up here. No caution yet still. Now we got a caution, and we got 3 cars in the top 5 collected in that one.
And
now things are starting to get spicy.
Yeah, things are getting spicy is, I believe the phrase, that's a spicy meatball. This is a spicy race. There's the spin right there. We go back a little bit further and take a look. And it was strictly a shot in the shorts is all it was. And just round one goes, and then chaos ensues after that.
All right, so there you see the pass by Raz. Carroll spun the tires on the restart. You see him fall in line there with Raz into number 21. And right there's a little bit of contact. Day gets hit by Denny. Then Denny gets into Carroll and Cole Raz. Tucker's looking it over in the pit box right now. He says bark. He's good to go.
Yeah,
But we got problems with Raz, Day, and Carroll. 3 drivers that were all in the top 5. This shook up the entire top 5. Now you've got Barnes leading the way. You got Brock Denny with a lot of damage on the number 64 car. And Tucker is down there barking up a storm right now at anybody who will listen to him. Because look at the nose on that number 64 right now of Denny. We go on board the gearbox of Travis Barnes. We've seen that camera angle a couple of times tonight. We go on board looking out the back of Travis Barnes right now. You'll see the damage on the number 64. Yeah, Tucker's not happy about that. Brock's going to have to get him a couple more boxes of treats and probably a new chew toy as well to make up for Tucker having to fix that puppy up tonight.
Yeah, he can fix that puppy up. Good one there. Yes, he is going to have to do some damage, and there goes the Chris Carroll going by. I'm not sure. Usually that would be the wave around, but he was the cause of the caution, and there he is now. He's slowing down, so not sure. Chris Carroll staying in front of the leaders here. Now he's going around.
Well, Cole Raz received a wave around, and the caution has been extended here. And you know who this is helping is Travis Barnes in the 8, because this is just clicking laps more and more away. But Denny in the 64 in second, trying to figure out the running order situation.
Yeah, I was wondering there if maybe Chris Carroll not disputing his spot there a little bit, but he's not. He's going to the back now. As Travis Barnes, he said, is your race leader. Lights are off now, so we'll see if they come back on. But as of now, we're going racing again.
Here we go. Barnes, Denny, 14-lap shootout this time, and hoping that we don't have another tire spin situation. Look at how high up Dylan Huffines is in the number 7, and that might have cost him there, as I think he spun the tires a little bit, but he was able to get down in front of Shane Quinn. Where did Quinn come from in the 4? We haven't mentioned him all night. He's a 2-time winner this season. 5 career for Quinn in the 4. He's worked his way into the top 5 at the end of this race.
Yeah, you know, some of these guys, I'm convinced they have like a stealth ninja mode on these cars. You mention them on the grid, and then you just kind of forget about them. And then all of a sudden, at the end of the race, here they come karate chopping their way through the field, and a caution is out once again, and this time it's for Troy Tarbuck.
Tarbuck, a heartbreak for the 04 car. Such a strong qualifying run and a strong practice run as well. Taking a look again at the 4K Ultra HD replay. Remember, that could be your logo here. If you want to sponsor the replay and caution flags on LSR TV, let us know. We'll get you pointed in the right direction. Garrett Archer in the 5 car right there, battling with Tarbuck. There's Garber behind him. Now remember, Archer and Garber have each tapped already. Ooh, oh.
Contact was made, but he was already going around before that contact.
I want to take you a look at that from the aerial coverage there, because I think he was already sideways before the caution came out. Before the contact. I don't think there was initial contact there until after the slide had already started.
Yeah,
this angle right here is going to tell the story.
Yeah, that is definitely what I saw. And, you know, I was just talking about him, too. And that 04 machine, it reminds me, oh, no, there was contact.
Oh, yeah, right there, yeah. That's why I wanted to look at the aerial coverage, because I wasn't sure if there was initial contact. Camera don't lie, it's right there. So, unfortunately for Archer, that is going to be... If he does tap, that's his second one.
Done.
Yes, it is. He is parked. 2 taps on the night allowed. Now, this is interesting, Charles, because now he's going to be on probation for the Langley race. He only gets 1 tap at the Langley race, and he'll be done for the night at Langley, which is coming up again at the conclusion of this one. We've got 8 laps to go this time. We're going to be, I believe, 7 when we take the green flag.
That is correct. And what I was saying about that 04 there is I was thinking Whataburger, and I know a lot of people don't know what a Whataburger is. If you come to Texas, it's only the best hamburger ever, but that car reminds me the orange and white, and the simplicity of that design reminds me of the old NASCAR driver Kel Yarbrough.
It does. It really does. The old Hardy scheme as we go green. Green flag is out, and looking like the 5 team is having a discussion with race officials down in the pits. That's going to get interesting here because the 5 team not happy about how that incident unfolded there. But Travis Barnes, he was happy with that restart. And he knows that damage to the Tucker Dog special of Brock Denny is going to try to keep Denny at bay. 5 laps to go for Barnes and his second win of the season, then back-to-back at Lanier.
Yeah, that is the best case scenario, excuse me, for the 8 of Travis Barnes to know that you have a damaged car behind you. So not only is he not going to be able to catch you, he's going to slow everyone down that's possibly faster than you behind him as well. So this is like prime time right now if you're that 8 of Travis Barnes, and definitely you look forward to talking to him before we jump over to Langley, as we got one going around.
Just a couple laps to go. Got 3 to go this time, coming around to 2 to go. About a mile left in this one. Shane Quinn around into number 4, makes it to pit road. There will not be a caution for that. So Shane Quinn, we talked about him being up near the front. That is unfortunately going to end his night at Lanier. He'll have to bounce back here at Langley. Coming up at conclusion to this race, which is 1 lap to go. It's the CRN 1 to go for Travis Barnes, looking for win number 2 as Quinn makes his way back out on the track. Barnes looking for his second win of the season, and back-to-back through 3 and 4. He's going to do it. Back-to-back at Lanier and his second of the season. Travis Barnes goes to victory lane, but we got a battle going on for third. 1 car in the wall, and Huffines holds on for the 3rd spot.
What a battle. Again, it was a long, drawn-out race, but by the time we got to the end, it really came together. It's just like, wrapping a present for Christmas. It starts out, and you don't know how it's going to go, and by the end of the race, it was nice and pretty and ready for delivery.
Well, Travis Barnes picking it up, and no doubt there's going to be some tempers carrying over to Langley, so you're not going to want to miss the second 200-lap race coming your way at Langley, which is coming up again right after Victory Lane celebrations, which are coming up right after this break. We're going to let Travis Barnes do some celebrating. We're going to catch up with the top 3, and then we're moving on to Langley. Travis Barnes, winner here. We'll go over the race results real quick as well. I forgot about that. Travis Barnes picking up the win in the number 8 with Brock Denny in second. Dylan Huffines in third. BJ Titter, Caden Anderson rounding out the top 5. Seth Frazier comes home 6th. Birthday boy Isaiah Gill fights back to 7th. Bardock Jr. 8th. Josh Childress 9th. Josh Washington, a quiet race. He finishes 10th as Charles will continue with the sawblade.com unofficial results.
Yeah, Casey Garber finishing in the 11th position, followed by Ellie Musgrave. Levi Allen. Ellie had a rebound there from last to 12th after tapping out, so good job. She'll be looking to redeem herself starting a pole for the next race. Cole Raz, a little disappointing finish there in 14th, followed by Bryce Beatty. Chris Carroll, again, disappointing for him. Had a good run, didn't quite finish it up the way he wanted. Eric Cheney, Jason Day, Troy Tarbuck, and Shane Quinn going to round out your top 20.
Rounding out the field is the number 79, of Gary Smith, winner at USA. Briar Reynolds in the 03. Ian Holloway. Travis McKinney was the only driver to not finish under his own power, as Garrett Archer was disqualified late in the race. So that's race 1 in the books. We're going to take a quick step aside, thank a couple sponsors that help us pay the bills on LSR TV. When we come back, we'll talk to our top 3, and we're going to be moving on to Langley. Stick around.
I promise to follow through. I promise to repair or replace your product.
I promise to get your optics back to you as soon as possible.
A promise is the foundation of our business. We call it the VIP warranty, the very important promise. It's unlimited, unconditional, and lifetime. No matter what the problem is, no matter how the problem occurred, no matter how old the product is, if it says Vortex Optics on it, we will repair or replace your product at no cost to you. Maybe it was an accident, maybe it was your fault, or even your dog's. No matter what happens, we've got you covered.
It's simple. There's no product registration, no receipts to hang on to. Just grab a box, fill out a form, ship us your product. No hassle, no questions asked.
We stand behind the quality and performance of our products, and our commitment to you extends far beyond the initial purchase. I promise.
Welcome back to Lanier Raceplex for race number 1 of tonight's doubleheader. Remember, Langley coming up as soon as we're done here talking to our top 3, which we're going to start it off by talking with a guy who finished in the 3rd spot after starting 22nd, tail end of the field, picked his moment time and time again. Dylan Huffines able to climb up to finish 3rd in a drag race with BJ Tidrick. And Dylan, just picking your moment time and time again, each spot a little bit closer, finally getting up to the top 3.
Yeah, it was a really long race, a lot of single file, a lot of bumping and banging because nobody wanted to go to the outside or anything. It was really tough to pass people. I'm just glad that I made it up as far as I could and still finish without tapping at all.
Well, Dylan, talk about just the overall progression of the race, because you started at the back, and tell us a little bit about what goes through your head when you got to start that deep in the field on a bull ring track like this, just 0.38 miles, the shortest track that the series will go to this year. Just tell us about trying to keep your cool and keeping patient and how difficult that is over a 200-lap race.
Honestly, in the beginning of the race, when you're starting that far back, I just think about trying to ride, make sure my car stays in one piece for the end of the race, because I know spots are going to come to me naturally as people start making moves. The inside lane's going to move and people are going to get freight trained back, so I can follow the inside lane through as far as it can go until I have to start making moves on my own, which was about, I'd say, halfway through the race. I had to start making moves on my own. And it's pretty hard keeping your cool because you're getting hit a lot. You're getting mad at other people for hitting you and vice versa. And it's just really tough racing at these short tracks, but it's a lot of fun.
Well, Dylan, that's just halfway through the night. We're going right up to Langley, Virginia tonight for the second half of the Atomic Screen Printing doubleheader. You're in that one too. What are your thoughts going into Langley coming up here in about 10-15 minutes?
Well, this track, to me, it drives a lot like Oxford for grip level. At least with this setup, there's not a lot of grip, so I'm going to be trying to keep the tires on it as much as I can. And I don't know exactly where I start, but I'm going to be trying to pick my way through the field again like I did last time. So should be another fun race, and we'll see how it goes.
All right, Dylan, a third here tonight. We'll let you thank your sponsors.
I'd like to thank Vincent Enterprises, Haley Manufacturing, Pacific CA System, Race Wholesale Meats, Signiacs Graphics, and Sela, and Travis Barnes for doing the custom mapping on this car to get the blue chrome, and Mike Wood for the paint scheme.
Third place, Dylan Huffines, best finish of the season. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I believe Charles has made his way down to second place, Brock Denny, and special guest Tucker.
Yes, I have. So, Brock, we're just going to talk to Tucker because we're sure he would. No, I'm just kidding. We're just kidding. We're not going to just talk to him. No, well, we know where he is. He's occupied at the moment. So we're good with him. Yeah, you get second place here tonight. Definitely a rough night. A lot of beating and banging. And it looked like mostly a one-group track. It looked like you had to really, plan your moves out with all those marbles on the top and the bottom of the track. How precise did you have to be in making your moves?
Yeah, it was definitely a one-group track. I think At the beginning of the race, I got stuck on the outside, and I think I could have made some moves, but there was a slower car in front of me. Yeah, I think Travis made probably the move of the race there on the outside. That was pretty impressive. I got to watch that all happen. But yeah, you definitely didn't want to enter the corner too high or too low because you'd hit those marbles, and it was not any fun.
Yeah, definitely not fun hitting the marbles here. But, the $1 million question, we still have another 200 laps to go at Langley. Are you ready for that one? And have you learned anything here that maybe you can take over to there as they're both short tracks?
Oh, man. I was not excited for Langley, so we're going to see how it goes. I'm just going to try to survive. That's all I did at Lanier, just tried to survive. And, yeah, like I said, I got stuck on the outside, fell to the back. And then I was just cruising and found myself in second place, so I'd be fine with doing that again.
Well, there you go, cruising to a second place finish. Tucker along, ears are flapping in the wind. He gets second place.
Oh, yeah.
And those sponsors who you got on that car, Brock?
I got Diamond S Trailers watching, my Jerry Saloon. Yeah, Caden for making me all my paints. And yeah, all I got to say is I'm ready for some real racing. iRacing is fun, but I'm ready to get going again.
As we all are, and speaking of real racing, I know Greg will be back at it, and I believe he has caught up with Travis Barnes, who is sitting in victory lane.
And Travis Barnes, second win of the season and second in a row at Lanier. You are still the only driver to win a Tour race here at this racetrack. What is it about this facility, Lanier, that just fits you so well?
Well, my track, my home track, South Sound Speedway, is about the same length. It doesn't really drive the same, but it kind of has the same principle. There's two multiple grooves you can run here, especially if you have later in the run that tires goes out, and especially that's when you can make those two grooves work. But it really works out a lot like my home track.
Well, Travis, it was almost the identical situation to last year, too. Right around the halfway point, you get yourself up front and you check out from there, almost identically to last year. So 2 in a row for you at this racetrack. No doubt it's got to feel good, especially late in the season, building momentum up towards next year. I know you're still trying to get as many points as you can, but it's got to feel good knowing that you have at least one track for sure that you are the guy to beat.
Oh, yeah, it feels good. I wouldn't say that it was all cheese and cake today. I know you like cheesecake there, Greg, but
yes, sir.
It wasn't all that today. There was a lot of comers and goers, and a lot of things just swung my way, and that's what got me to the front, and I just had to hold on to it from there.
Well, Travis, we're wrapping up here at Lanier, but we're heading up right now to the race at Langley, so we are getting ready to go. As a matter of fact, looks like we're getting set to go right now, so we got to wrap this up real quick. Thank you, sponsors.
All right, I'd like to thank Capital Sign and Awning, DNS Light Truck and Auto, No Clue Racing, Jackie Lee Franks for all my talent, Barrett Utilities LLC, Tim Garski, Robert Richardson, my crew chief, my mama, and that's about it. Thanks, guys. Let's go racing again.
Yeah, we are getting set to go. We weren't ready for that, so good luck, Travis. And we are going to go to a quick commercial break because we're getting set to start here at Langley. We'll be right back on LSR TV, your home for sim racing.
We're based out of West Monroe, Louisiana. We do custom T-shirts, racing. We'll do any shirt. We'll do schools, churches, fundraisers. We do a ton of event shirts, as you can see on our board here, all around our banner. Personalized. I mean, we do anything. It doesn't matter to us. We got the custom rugs. We use all the top quality shirts, inks and everything. Hoodies, hats. We do embroidered hats, embroidered shirts. Just you can call us for anything. We do offer the bag and fold, to where you can receive them and they're already labeled and tagged and bagged, ready to give out to your customers. So you can just call us and just tell us, hey, this is what we're looking at doing, and if we're going to put the car on there, it is 125 quantity minimum. If it's without the car, it's 60 quantity minimum. That's strictly on the racing stuff. If it's a business or something, if you race on Texas shirts, it's a little bit differently. you know, you can call us. It just depends on your quantity and ink color. Everything is hand drawn. I mean, everything. We don't Photoshop anything onto a shirt or anything like that. Everything that we go through, everything is drawn, and which is the reason for the art fees. Because we do have several graphic artists that draw for us, and
Shane Quinn is going to lead us to green here at Langley. The pace car lights are off. Shane Quinn and Troy Tarbuck going to lead him to green. Here we go, 3 and 4. Race number 2. So nice. Let's do it twice. Green flag in the air. We are underway at Langley. Let's kick some asphalt for the second time tonight. So working lap number 6, and remember, this was done in a separate qualifying session. This does not have anything to do with the Lanier results, which is why Brock Denny is out in front after starting second and opening up a big lead here over Shane Quinn and company. And Shane Quinn is falling to the back. Bardecker Jr. has climbed to second into number 82. Cole Raz into number 21 in third. So a couple of the same cast of characters from that first race have already found their way back up to the front. But the Tucker Dog Special, Brock Denny, got the damage repaired. Tucker said bark, 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 and we are ready to go. Tucker has that 64 hooked so far tonight.
Yeah, an interesting one to point out, Ellie Musgrave. She is all the way back in 12th place in that 23 machine. Not sure what have you. Since she had a quick time here at Langley, but she is deep in this field, about mid-pack.
That's because she started quick time, but with that invert, the 16-car invert, she started near the back of the field. But she did set history in this race. First female driver to set quick time in a Northwest Tour sanctioned event. So with that, will we see history again tonight? She's already made history twice this season, Charles.
Yeah, and you look at this battle going on here, a little bit of a battle anyway. Look who's in front of her. Those two, the 04 and the 23, have already tangoed once here at Lanier, and they are right next to each other once again on this track.
Oh, and you know it. And I mean, it's another short track. And remember, driver memories are like elephants. They have the most incredible memories when it comes to behind the wheel. Now, if you ask them what they had for dinner last night, they're going to give you the runaround. They don't remember. But if you ask them who hit them 3 years ago, they're going to remember exactly who it was, what color their car was, where on the racetrack it was, how many people were in the grandstands. That was 3 years ago. We're talking 10 minutes ago.
So if anybody's wondering, this is why getting into a graphic designer or a rapper that raps race cars is a awesome job to have.
That is cash money
because
right there.
If you wreck too many people in a white car, you're probably going to show up with a purple car next year. They don't recognize you.
Is that a Cheney joke? Is that a Cheney joke, purple car?
Possibly.
He's watching, by the way. Eric Cheney joining the chat now. The number 76 did not qualify for this one, but did qualify for Lanier. Solid run for him at Lanier, but is watching in the chat right now. Saying hello. Also hello to some of our other folks in the chat watching. Nick Bellamy saying hello. Jake Millsap, hello. I think first time I've seen that name, Millsap. Kelly Pointer another Northwest guy, he's checking us out. Russ Lundberg, he was rattling off some of the sponsors down in Georgia. I'm curious if he knows any of the ones here at Langley, so we'll have to see if we can get footage of some of the billboards at some point here tonight. Brock Denny's rattling off. Well, I think everyone knows Mountain Dew. I saw Mountain Dew up there, so that's one. So we'll have to see.
Is that a beverage, I guess?
Yeah, it's the best soda on the planet. What are you talking about?
I don't know. I know what you're talking about. I've never had them.
What is wrong with you?
Lots of things. Where you want me to start? But anyway.
So this is interesting. I just noticed something, Charles. Not sure what happened. We'll have to see if maybe we can catch up with race officials or maybe even Caden himself. But Caden Anderson received a black flag on the start of the race. It has been cleared, and moving forward, Caden Anderson is not getting the black flag, but not sure what happened. But sometime here, we're working lap number 19. Caden Anderson received a black flag that was rescinded by race officials. So not sure what happened on the 37. We'll have to see if we can figure out what happened at some point with this one.
Yeah, that is very interesting. We'll have to figure that one out. As again, we want to thank the sponsors for all on board as the season's coming to an end here very soon. Of course, Joe's Racing Products and Atomic Screen Printing. As this battle is underway, not much going on at the lead right now, as you can see there. Kind of solo, all by himself. Bart Hector Jr. in second, Cole Raz in third, and really from second on, that's where the battles start. As Brock Denny, like you said, got that damage repaired and is just checked out.
Brock Denny, and remember, he said in his interview he wasn't looking forward to this race, and yet here he is, leading the way early and pulling away. 2 seconds on the year and a third to go with it. Tucker has got that thing hooked up. Boy, I think Brock is going to tell us that he's making the executive decision that Wesley is fired for the finale, because Wesley likes to kidnap Tucker and take him for a walk around the racetrack mid-race, and it doesn't work out in Denny's favor. But when Tucker's held up in the pit box, Denny seems to be doing pretty good. So Wesley, I think you're going to have a discussion with the team on the 64 if you're watching this.
Yeah, they definitely will have to have a discussion for sure. And we'll just have to kind of wait and see how that one goes. But getting good battles going on here. I want to go further back as, we're starting to see some gaps build here. And let's see if you can see here from that drone view here at Langley. There's the group right now about 8th, 9th, and 10th. Sorry, that's 9th, 10th, and 11th. You go up a little bit. Then there's this group.
One car in the wall. One car in the wall. It's Anderson in the 37. Caden Anderson in the wall hard in turn 3. He's got a lot of damage, and he caught it again off of turn number 4. That red 37 right there, Caden Anderson caught the wall a ton right about here last time by.
Yeah, and you can see as we'll go on board with him, you can really see that damage as it's popped up. Good news is it's short track racing. It's not going to affect him too much, but it's going to affect him. And you get that damage. And Greg, you've been on a racetrack here on iRacing, and not sure real life or not, but either way, whether it's sim or real, you hit the wall 1 or 2 times, you get damage, you get frustrated. The damage may not cause him to hit, wreck or hit the wall or anything like that, but the frustration of knowing you did it 1 or 2 times, that's what you have to focus out of your mind. That, and Caden Anderson is really good at it, but that mental frustration is more likely going to cause issues than the actual damage itself.
Ask Bart about me getting frustrated tapping the wall in a short track race. I think it was actually here at Langley. Linking back was one of my big ones. So, Bart was spotting for me when I first got started. He was helping me get started. He dealt with that quite a few times with me getting frustrated after hitting the wall. So I know exactly what you're talking about. I think every driver in this field has been there at least 5 or 6 times in their iRacing career, getting frustrated and hitting the wall. And it happens so early in the race that it just builds, and that frustration mounts more and more, and every little thing begins to irritate you. So that right now is what Anderson needs to tune out and just try to shake off as he tries to go to war with Quinn now in the number 4. Remember Irwindale? Quinn and Anderson, they were not exactly best friends at Irwindale. They were having issues, and now here they are, 12th and 13th on the ticker right now. So wait, might we see a rematch between the two of them? I think it's too early for that right now, but we shall see.
We'll definitely be waiting to see. And what we are going to be seeing is this battle for the lead, potentially. You know, there's short track racing. There's not a lot of drafting. But are you going to get something out of these cars? Because that gap to the lead between Bart Hector Jr. and Brock Denny has closed significantly, as you have Brock Denny, the little train out front. He's a little engine that could. And then you have this steam locomotive of Bart Hector, Cole Raz, Jason Day, Chris Carroll, and Travis Barnes that are just freight-lining right up to him.
Yeah, choo-choo. Here comes the train. Bart Hector Jr. leading the pack. Cole Raz, Jason Day, Chris Carroll, Travis Barnes, Casey Garber on board. He's got Fatback tucked on to this one. Spotting for him. Denny, though, leading the way. And remember, we talked about it a couple of times. Denny picked up that big win in the trucks on Wednesday night for their duels for their big race coming up next Wednesday night. But remember, the Northwest Racing Series kicks off their season, 80 laps at Daytona tomorrow night. Field is set. We said it last Monday night. Catch it in the archives sometime tomorrow and get yourself ready for the 80 lap race here at Daytona tomorrow night on LSR TV. We're going live on the air at 8:45 p.m. Pacific time, so be ready for that one.
Yeah, definitely going to be an interesting race again. 43 cars for the first race. I believe we had around that last year. We'll see. Hopefully the car count stays up throughout the season. You know, we harp on it all the time here on the channel for the drivers. We know they tune in and watch the broadcasts live or after. Is stay in the series. You know, these drivers get a little frustrated. Well, I'm not in the chase. You know, I'm not in this. Stay in the series, because just because you're not a driver in the chase, you could affect it. You know, if somebody needs 20 points to win and there's 10 drivers, they can't get it. So every driver counts, whether you are in it or not. So, you know, hopefully that car count stays up like it is now, as the battle is on right now with Bart Hector Jr. and Cole Raz. Is Cole Raz going to take it to the inside and possibly make that pass work?
Raz and Hector, two of the strongest cars this season. Remember, though, Hector has not yet won a main event this season. Cole Raz has done that. He won the race at Nashville. 3 wins in the B-League competition this year as well. That finale coming up Friday night as well. The Friday night of the Smyrna race, which is our season finale here. But Cole Raz up to second now, trying to walk up his second win of the season here in the Northwest Tour. Won one of the Nashville races, split him with Ryan Gormley, and now trying to reel in Brock Denny. But Brock Denny trying to reel in as many as he can. One car coming down pit road very quickly. That was Gary Smith in the 79 on pit road already in the number 79, and he looks like he is done for the night. Gary Smith done for the evening in the number 79.
Yeah, we knew they didn't have to come down and pit. 200 laps easily made. So if you're coming down pit road, you probably have something wrong that you have to get in. Unfortunately, Gary Smith, we don't know the cause for it, but he has pulled it in and said, I am done. I am going to IHOP earlier than everybody else. Maybe he just wants to beat the crowd.
Yeah, IHOP. I mean, who doesn't love pancakes at 9 o'clock at night? For sure. Brock Denny leading in the way. I wonder if Tucker likes pancakes. We'll have to ask him next chance we get. I mean, as he's coming up on lap traffic again. This is going to be Jake Odan in the number 08.
Do we really even need to ask? I mean, I know if his dog's anything like my dog, you could put a brick in front of it and put like A1 steak sauce on it and it would try to eat it. So my dog likes everything. So I take that back. I did have a salad for supper and I dropped a piece of lettuce on the ground and my dog smelled it, ran to it, and then stubbed her nose at it and wouldn't eat it.
Hey, when did Brock Denny get that damage on the right front of that number 64 car? Tucker's going to be mad that he's got to fix the car again, because Denny's got quite a bit of damage. Right there, you see it on the 64 car. May have caught the wall, and that may be why Cole Raz has been able to reel him in so quickly, along with Jason Day and Chris Carroll behind them. Bart Hector Jr. lurking back there. Garber lurking on Hector. Those two do a lot of work together on iRacing in other cars, battling it out for the final spot in the top 5 right now. But Cole Raz is catching up to the Tucker Dog Special. Can the Master Wrench get by him?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. And yeah, you're right. That is definitely going to be a cause, probably, of why they were able to get by him here. As we are past lap 50 here. 51 laps are in the books. Lap 52 underway right now.
Anderson and Quinn racing hard, turn 3. And they're going to get together again off of turn number 4. Had a feeling this might happen. Quinn and Anderson, they have been disagreeing a couple of times this season, and let's see if we can get a look at a replay, perhaps, as things look like they've settled down for a second. Anderson and Quinn have really been battling it out, and they got together a couple of times there the last couple laps. We'll see if we can go back on an LSR TV 4K Ultra HD replay. Not the first time this season these two have had it coming together up there.
No, there it is right there, beating and banging. And again, just go back just a tad bit further and see what we can see here. But yeah, these two, they're just exchanging cell phone numbers right now.
Yeah, they're exchanging pancake recipes.
Yeah. And the big one is right there. He gets into him and it puts him in the wall as well. So a lot of aggression being shown here at the moment. It's unfortunate for these drivers as both of them have chances to win, but there's the pass for the lead right there as Cole Rad's going to get by Brock Denny, and it looks like Jason Day's going to get by as well.
I think Denny may have just scuffed the wall off of turn number 2 there, as well as Day had to kind of go down to the bottom. Jason Day, let's talk about the 52 for a second here, Charles, because he has been very impressive the second half of the season. One of those rookies in the Tour. All of a sudden, he picked up a top 5 out of nowhere. I believe it was the Snowball Derby, and ever since then, he has very quietly run very strong, very consistent, constantly a guy you got to watch in the top 5.
Yeah, he is definitely somebody you have to watch. I have to wonder, which one of these drivers, we see some cautions from time to time, and it kind of dictates who wins. If we get a long green flag run, could we see some of these guys that we don't always see, up the front, that are getting that chance to really show how they can, use the tire wear to their advantage?
Very well could. Chris Carroll's got damage on the right front once again, looking exactly like it did at Lanier. Taking a look back at some of the guys deeper in the field, you've got Tarbuck in the 04 in 9th, trying to have another solid run. Seth Frazier, he started 15th. He's up to 8th in that number 32. Casey Garber is started 13th up to 7th. Biggest mover of the race right now, mathematically speaking. Caden Anderson in the 37 started 21st up to 12th. Dan Lowther in the number 63 raced his way in through both B mains. He started 23rd in this one, start up to 15th now in the In-Front Motorsports number 63. As we got some action going on deeper in the field. Battle going on now for 11th. Anderson trying to get around Musgrave and Will. So Caden Anderson, let's pick up the 37. There he is, because he's trying to charge through the field up to the 11th spot now, bringing Shane Quinn with him.
Yeah, he is right there. Nellie Musgrave just going the wrong direction right now. She again qualified on pole. The invert center to midfield, and she has just been going the wrong way right now in these last couple of laps. So unfortunate, it's like when it rains, it pours. She had that incident in the first race, and it is just kind of carried over to the second one. And what I was talking about, frustration. Could, that frustration of having to tap in race 1 and now having to invert and start midfield, could that frustration just be getting to her head a little bit to where, it's just not thinking as clearly as she might have? And, I know I do it, when I'm on iRacing, so could that be playing a factor here?
It very well could, and I think we're all guilty of overthinking behind the wheel or on iRacing, and it gets to you. And I know I'm guilty of overthinking in real life as well, at work, at home, driving around on the road. Pretty much every aspect of life, that's one of my biggest downfalls, is overthinking. So definitely can see that being a problem with some of our drivers here. Wow, Dylan Huffines in the number 7 has a lot of damage on the right side of his car. This is Travis Barnes, the winner at Lanier, but back behind them, going to the turn number 3 right now in the 10th position, Dylan Huffines, he pancaked the wall. Let's see if we can pick up that 7 car right now as you watch Barnes and Denny, because Dylan Huff finds a ton of damage on that 7. Here we see it's on the outside, so we'll see if we can get a camera looking at the passenger side right there. A lot of damage to that 7 car.
Yeah, that is definitely pancaked in, and it is not the kind that are, as Wesley was smothered, covered in blah-blah-blah and stuff like that in, syrup. It is pancaked the wrong way, and that is costing him big time as he goes way up the track.
Marbles. He got up in the marbles as well. Not coming in quite as much as the first race at Lanier, but the marbles are beginning to come in up there in the upper groove of the corners. So will we see it get to the levels that we saw at Lanier? Because this is a longer run than we saw at Lanier. 70 laps already in the books, coming to complete lap 71. 3-horse race for the lead up front as Jason Day putting pressure on Cole Raz for the lead right now. As you watch Huffines right now, Charles, what are you expecting to see with the marbles? Because right now doesn't look like they're coming in quite as much as the earlier race tonight.
Yeah, they're definitely not coming in like they were in race number 1, which is very interesting because this track only 0.36 miles long. It's a very short track. Temperature 148 degrees. I didn't get a chance to look at the last temperature that we had at Lanier. I know it was 145. It possibly got hotter than that, but this track already hotter than the last known temperature that I looked for over there. So definitely surprising. These tires are hotter, but we're not seeing the buildup. There's a little bit right there, but not near what we saw at Lanier.
Yeah, and this is harkening back to the other flat track races we had. Milwaukee, Irwindale, Lucas Oil, even Oxford, all was the common trend. A lot of marbles built up. Lanier fell into that one as well. So kind of surprised that we haven't seen the build-up here as much, but we've gone 75 laps caution free. Cole Raz has led pretty much the second half of those 75 after getting around Brock Denny, but Jason Day and Chris Carroll battling for second, and as I say that, Carroll gets to the inside for second place, so move Chris Carroll up into second, but he's got another pancake right front where Cole Raz seems to be relatively clean so far on the number 21 car, but lap traffic is lying ahead. 18 cars on the lead lap right now. The next car to go a lap down will be Briar Reynolds. He has damage. He's been in the wall as well. I'm looking through. I'm only seeing, Charles, maybe 4 or 5 cars that don't have some kind of damage here already.
Yeah, there is not a lot of cars out there that do not, and that's a product of short track racing. You've got to have some hammers and baseball bats and stuff because a lot of these guys got to beat those fenders back out, and I would imagine if it was real life they probably couldn't replace it all the time. So fenders are gonna get bent, tempers are gonna flare here. We've already seen tempers potentially flaring between the 4 of Quinn and the 37 of Anderson. Will we see any just blatant I'm frustrated with you kind of moves in this second race? Because 400 laps to run is a long time to run with the same people.
We just saw it. Shane Quinn and Caden Anderson get together again. There's Huffines. Caution's out for the first time tonight. There's Anderson facing the wrong way, right in front of the easy auto sign. Let's take a look. Not the first time these two have gotten together. LSR TV 4K Ultra HD replay going in the turn number 1 right here. Quinn gets a run right there.
And of course, take one more look here from the aerial cam, and we'll see the contact going to be coming up here momentarily. And these two have again, they've just been at it all night.
They have, and this is going back a couple of weeks. This went back to Irwindale as well as where this all started. So we have ourselves our first real rivalry of the season, as there you see the contact between Quinn and Anderson going around. These two have been kind of butting heads the last couple of weeks, and now it boils over here at Langley. I will have to see how it goes. Under caution here for the first time tonight, Randy Swiger. Apologize if I said the name wrong, but top 5 at Vegas tonight. Hey, congratulations on that one. We always like hearing that our viewers had a successful race at Vegas. Let us know what car you were in. Were you in the truck? Were you in the Xfinity car, the Cup car? Let us know. Watching in the chat. Thanks for tuning in tonight as well.
Yeah, definitely. We like to interact with the fans out there. And this is going to get interesting so far. Caden Anderson coming back through the field here.
So what happened here, he was trying to get going and got put a lap down under the caution trying to get going. He was supposed to be at the tail end of the lead lap, but because of the way the scoring system works on iRacing, he got pinned a lap down. So he explained the situation to race officials. They said, yep, we'll give you a wave around. So Anderson will get waved around to be back at the tail end of the lead lap. That's what happened there at the 37.
And now we see the 4 is back at the rear of the field as well. Excuse me. So did the 4 take the tap on that, or
looks like it? Yes, Shane Quinn did tap on it.
So Shane Quinn taking the tap.
Shane Quinn and Caden Anderson are lined up right next to each other. This is going to be an interesting restart.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting. You have the car that got spun, going to be behind the car that did the spinning, and now they're at the rear of the field. So will there be any retaliation is the question. And 2, if there is any retaliation, how long will it take? And it looks like actually 37 is going to be in front, so that may eliminate some of that. But those two side by side really showing their frustration here with each other. But, if it takes too long and these guys battle side by side, they're going to be the next cars to go a potential lap down from the leader. So that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on as the green flag comes back out.
Green flag is out. Oh, and Anderson got held up by Podan there in the 37 as they try to get going. Quinn taking a very high arc in the 4. I'm watching this battle between Quinn and Anderson. This is also for position, by the way. It's for 17th position on the ticker. As you see them battling it out right there. They've got together a couple of times here. Not just tonight, but this season already. As one car slow up in front of him, Tidrick got the wall in the 72, and that allows Anderson to clear Quinn. And now looks like things are going to settle down there for the time being. Cole Raz trying to check out over Jason Day and Chris Carroll. Raz leading the way.
Yeah, that was the best news for Anderson. The 72 of BJ Tidrick got into the wall. That allowed him to get by him without really having to do anything. That could have been a saving grace for Anderson, because if he's a little hot under the collar and he was thinking, I'm going to move him if I have to, that just saved him from potentially having some kind of penalty later on in the night.
Raz continues to lead. Day right behind him in second. Big run going into turn number 3 for Jason Day. He had to kind of go high a little bit, which caused him to lose that momentum off of turn number 4 there. Carroll lurking, Denny Garber up to the top 5. Something happened to Hector in the 82 because he got shuffled back to 8th, and he's kind of the lone separation right now between the first pack, which is caboosed by Frazier, and the second group, which is led by Tarbuck. Whoa, something happened to Anderson in the 37. He's coming off pit road. Caden Anderson in the 37 car was on pit road there. We'll have to go back and see what happened. He came down pit road into number 37. So he's going to be 3 laps down now in the 37. That's unfortunately likely going to end his night as far as competitive-wise. He's just going to be out there running laps now.
Yeah, looking there, he did come down and was in the pit, in his stall for 34 seconds. So he did come down, possibly maybe a, some kind of black flag. 30 seconds would be right about par.
Wonder if that may have had something to do with the start or the restart. We'll see. Remember, he kind of had to check off of the throttle a little bit because he got slowed up. Wondering if that was indeed the case. We're clicking laps away now. Cole Raz, Jason Day continues to lead. Coming up about 4 laps from halfway now. One caution so far at Langley, compared to, I believe the final total was 6 or 7. We'll have to go back and look. Remember, I said 7 in our little pre-race bet before. You said 22. You lost, buddy. You lost. Oh, one car caught the cone and sent the yellow cone about 4 rows deep, and we got problems. Josh Childress, Isaiah Gill, they're beating and banging. They save it. That was a chain reaction.
Yeah, and that cone, you saw it right there, too. It literally flew from one end of the track to the other. So, you know, whether they throw a penalty or not, I think we need to say hashtag Cone Lives Matter, and that was not nice to knock out that cone like that.
That was Dylan Huffines who hit the home run on the cone. So Huffines plays football for Sela High School. Maybe he should switch to baseball because he just clocked a home run down the entire front stretch.
Yeah,
Barnecker Jr. had a black flag clear. And remember, Anderson had that earlier. You know what I think might be happening here, Charles? That yellow cone is the pit road commitment line. So if a driver has or does clip the cone like Huffines did, maybe that's triggering a black flag for pit entry violation, a commitment cone violation. I'm wondering if that's what's going on because we've seen that a couple of times in this race.
It very, very well could be. Seems like I got the hiccups all of a sudden, but it's hard to me, but it very well could be triggering those. You know, Lanier is like that, especially on the dirt side. If you get too close into there, it will actually tell you, slow down, slow down. So there very well could be penalties being assessed because of that. To, you know, potentially lose a race for that would be awful, but so far it's been in the back. We haven't seen it to the front runners. I wouldn't say something though, Greg, real fast. 103 laps. We are 98 laps to go.
We are just past halfway, which means we're going to take a moment to step aside, rest our voices. It's been a long night. Track temperature is 149 degrees. 49 is a good number. As we try to click laps away, just past halfway, we'll bring you to the finish when we come back. You're watching LSR TV. Contact us, Raz, with a big slide. He makes the save. Cole Raz is up front doing it. We're going to kick the asphalt here. We're going to rest our voices and get set for the finish. Chris Carroll knocking on the door of Cole Raz in that number 21, but Barnes looking to sweep the evening. What a moment it would be if Travis Barnes could get a huge double header victory brought to you by Atomic Screen Printing. Again, big thank you to the Walden family, Atomic Screen Printing, and Hermiston Raceway, Red Mountain Event Center, and Tri-City Raceway. Fingers crossed for green light to go back racing in West Richland. Last time that track saw any kind of action was 2004. We are crossing our fingers and hoping that we get the green light for the Red Mountain Event Center to come back. Hermiston Raceway, we're set for a great year in 2021. And Atomic Screen Printing, all owned by the Walden family. A huge thank you. Incredible supporters of racing in the Northwest. If you're in the Northwest, you know who the Walden family is. A huge thank you to them for stepping up and sponsoring tonight. Hopefully, we get them back for even more next year. And I'm going to see if we can even get them in the Northwest Racing Series a couple of times.
Yeah, and of course, speaking of getting people in, we haven't had any replays here tonight. But of course, if you are looking to get your company out there.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? No replays tonight. I have said LSR TV 4K Ultra HD replay like 18 times tonight.
In race number 2. We haven't had
that's
any.
Better. We've only had a couple, yeah.
So if you're here for race number 2 and you haven't seen it, if you were here for race 1, you've seen it. But we are currently looking for the caution replay sponsor. We may be using that replay here in just a minute. Man, this battle for the lead is just heating up right now between Chris Carroll and Travis Barnes. Nicole Raz, but again, we are looking for that replay sponsor, so definitely jump on board. You can message us on LSR TV on Facebook if you are interested, but the battle for that lead, oh man, we almost had the caution there.
I thought that was a caution. We're not just looking for replay sponsors. We're looking for any kind of sponsor you can think of. Ooh, Carol with a bump on Cole Raz. I mean, heck, if you really wanted to, if you say you own a construction company or something, you're looking for a sponsor, and you want us to say our name every time there's a bump on the racetrack, we can do that if you so want. Let us know what you're interested in. Shoot us an email at LSR TV. Message us on Facebook. We will get something worked out, and we will get your logo on
there's
every
a bump right there.
broadcast. Yeah, there's a bump. You would have 3 uses of your logo right there.
Yeah.
Here, caution is out for the second time, and guess what I get to say?
Yeah. See, I
Big
opened my
Rack
mouth.
here. Hector and Tidrick involved.
I opened my big mouth.
That did not look intentional by Hector and Tidrick. Let's take a look at, ready for it, LSR TV 4K Ultra HD replay. Thanks. Appreciate you, bud.
And there's the contact.
Dan Lowther and Bart Hector Jr. get together up there. Briar Reynolds back there. No caution there yet, right there. Oh, and Tidrick going for a ride. Hello.
Let's take another look at that.
Can we go on board with Hector looking out the front of the 82 car? Because I want to see what he saw when BJ Tidrick launched over him like a ramp. Let's take another look at that.
So we run down Bart Hector Jr. to figure out
You're
where
on him right now. There he is. There's the contact with Lowther. Let's go on board with the 82. Fighting. Hits the blue cone. Contact and then yoink. Oh my gosh.
I'm really curious here as to what exactly. Like, you're watching Bart Hector Jr. in that 82,
so
and
it was contact with Dan Lowther that triggered it, but that did not trigger the caution because Hector was able to make the save. What I'm wondering is what happened behind him back here with Reynolds and Tidrick.
Yeah, right
this is going to tell the story. So there's the contact between Lowther. Reynolds checks up. Tidrick gets in the back of Reynolds. They come up. Bink,
it's almost
flip.
like he didn't know the 03 was there.
And unfortunately, I don't think he did because unfortunately he was down in the grass, and I don't know. Yeah, I know you know it, Charles, because I mean, even though you drive with a mouse, you know what I'm talking about here. When you get in the grass in a super late model like that, that's like driving on an ice rink. You have no grip. So whether or not Hector knew Reynolds was there, I don't think that was the issue per se. I would say it was more or less a matter of, was there anything he could do? Clearly, Hector says, no, there wasn't anything I could do because he did tap on that one. It looks like he did tap on the caution, taking the EOL penalty, saying, hey, that was on me. I apologize. So Hector tapped on that one. Remember, that's big because the caution was not the contact between him and Lowther. The caution was coming back up on the racetrack and getting collected with Reynolds and Tidrick. So that's big that Hector taps there for that one.
Yeah, it is definitely big that he tapped. And again, laps are winding down very quickly here in race number 2 of 4. No, I'm just kidding. It's just 2 of 2. We're not racing 4 races. If we had 4 200-lap races, then I would need breakfast at that point. So, and well, quite frankly, I'll probably eat breakfast anyway after this because, you know, I like to have a midnight snack.
Oh, who doesn't like a midnight snack?
This is true.
Caution for the second time tonight. The official tally from the first race was 9 cautions. We're at 2 here tonight. So there was only one person in our little bet of about 8 people who said Langley would have less cautions than Lanier. The fact that I'm bringing that up, I'll let you guys in the chat try to figure out who that person was as we're back underway. As you got 70 laps to go. It was not you, Mr. 22 cautions.
Hey, I'm optimistic.
I think if he did, Aunt Kathy would go down and administer a 4K Ultra HD butt whooping to you down in Texas if we had 22 cautions in one of these.
Well, that's fine as long as she brings some cheesecake when she comes.
Hey, no. Back off the cheesecake. My cheesecake.
Actually, no, I don't want your cheese. Everybody knows I'm a chicken wing kind of person, so.
Chicken wings and battle for the lead is Barnes knocking on the door of Cole Raz. Just a little bump, bump, bump.
Hey, that's more than a bump. That's like 10 bumps.
Yeah, that was another set right there. Travis Barnes wants this sweep right now.
Oh, man,
he wants it again. Travis Barnes is knocking on the door of Cole Raz. He wants this sweep for that number 8.
I have a feeling right there he hits him again. You know, he's giving him that, hey, I'm here, shot to the rear bumper, and it makes you wonder how many times he's going to hit him. But see, if you spin him, you're going to the back either way. So he's got to be careful not to spin him out. But he is all over the back bumper as he gives him one more.
Wondering if he's just sending a message to Cole saying, I'm better than you on exit, buddy. I'm better. Knock, knock. That might be Barnes not so much trying to move him. I think he might right now just be trying to play mind games with the 21. But the guy who's liking this is Denny and Garber. Barnes taking a peek to the inside. Because Denny knows if something happens with these two, as it almost does there, he's right there to capitalize. Travis Barnes has administered about 15 taps to the back of the 21. Make it 16. Big slide, big slide, big slide. He saves it. Barnes to the lead.
That is right there.
With a big save.
Cole Raz is probably giving him the middle finger out the window right now, throwing a little birdie his way. But that right there, that was a classic. And I mean absolutely textbook classic bump and run.
That was textbook by Travis Barnes. There's no other way to do it. He was knocking on the door for a couple of laps there, and another set of black flags has been cleared. This time it's Briar Reynolds. I'm thinking that's the problem right now here, Charles. I'm thinking they're just clipping that cone and it's triggering a commitment cone violation. We've seen it a few times here. Remember, this is the first time this series has came to Langley. This is the first time this track has ever been competed on with this series. So I'm wondering if that is what's going on here, as drivers are just not quite sure where that commitment cone is. And we saw this at Oxford a lot. Oxford is the most notorious track on the server for this. Where that pit entry is located, it's clicking, just barely clipping it with the left front tire. Happens a lot at Oxford. We saw it in Lanier earlier. Seen it at South Boston once or twice if you really want to get technical. So
and
I think that's the problem
your point too, as Cole Raz is just stuck up to the top. He just slows down and goes to the back. He has no choice as he's going to bring it into the pits.
I think his tires might be shot.
He is done.
One. He's done.
Yeah, he's
Cole Raz done for the night.
That is very interesting. And sure, that's that frustration building up there. But to my point, real quick, is you were talking about Bryce Reynolds that had his black flag cleared. He did not come into the pits. However, we are showing him in pit lane for 1.1 seconds, which means, yes, he was scored as on pit road enough that it probably triggered him possibly for speeding or unsafe pit entrance. So, yes, that definitely would line up with what we're thinking has happened out here.
That would be, going back and taking a peek, that would be, I believe, the third instance of that in this race alone that I'm seeing right now. believe that would be the third one. We've seen it with Anderson, we saw it with Hector, and now we believe we saw it with Reynolds. And we haven't confirmed that that is what happened with Reynolds. We believe that was what happened with Anderson and Hector. Just the way that's gone, I think that is what's happening here. So this is something the series is going to have to look at moving forward and saying, you know, hey, what are we going to have to do about that moving forward if we come back to Langley next year? Because remember, the schedule is not yet set for next season, and a lot of drivers base the schedule off of what is happening. Wow, I wonder if we can take a quick look back at what Dylan Huffines just did in the number 7 on lap 144. Let's see if we can go back about half a lap here from here, because you're going to see an example of what we're talking about. Watch how close Huffines comes in the number 7 to the yellow cone. This is what we're talking about here on the 4K Ultra HD replay. Watch when he makes the move here on Tarbuck. Watch the left front tire of Huffines. Right there, there's the contact. Now watch how close it gets to the cone. Right there. What we think is happening is the left front tire is going beneath that cone, and we believe that is what is happening with all these black flags. That was right there what we were talking about. Huffines was able to not do it. Problems for Chris Carroll in the 97. He just went a lap down.
Yeah, he just spun it out, went to the grass. Not sure if he had help or not. But look who's right in front of him. Travis Barnes, your race leader, right around a car spinning out. He got lucky. He didn't get involved in it. But as a leader, trying to go back-to-back wins, you know, you may need a new fire suit after this race if it gets a little crazier than it already is.
AC Garber, by the way, has worked his way up to second with Fatback spotting for him in the number 96, the Iowa winner, trying to make his way up to the front and contend with Barnes. They started 12th and 13th respectively, and now here they are, first and second. Barnes looking for his series leading 3rd win of the season if he can hold on for another 51 laps.
Yeah, 51 laps is all that remains here, and then it's going to be 50 as they come to the line right there. Again, 50 as they go is all that remains out of 400 laps. So we ran total 200 at Lanier, 200 here, 50 left, and those laps are going to wind down very quickly as Chris Carroll trying to get by the 8. And you know, if you're Travis Barnes, you just let him go.
Yeah, if you're Travis Barnes, you've got a 3-second lead, and it's growing here in this one as he is clearly the fastest car in town right now. If you're Barnes, yeah, just let him go. Don't worry about that. Chris Carroll, we believe he's got the championship locked up. That was the consensus with the competitors, with the series officials. Mathematically, we believe Carroll in the 97 has that championship locked up. But Barnes is leading this race right now, trying to take the lead and wins the series. That's just how strong that Chris Carroll has been this season. But Barnes, smart guy, knows what to do, what not to do, and just letting Carroll go. Caution is out. That's not going to be any favors for Travis Barnes. Caution is out. We believe Briar Reynolds is involved as he is facing the wrong way in the grass up on the backstretch.
Take a look here again at that LSR TV 4K Ultra HD replay. Let me have a screen. And they're already spinning theirs. We're going to go back just a wee bit more. And it looks like it's
in the 08.
Yeah, the 08 and the 03 and the 06 in front of them. So the battle of the O's going on here. But the question is, was he loose already or not?
This is the lap before. Going into turn number 3. Again, all aerial coverage brought to you by All American Pools. Take a look. Podan to the inside. Oh, right there. Just a little bit of contact, but he's able to keep it going straight. There's the contact.
Oh, and he hit the blue cone, too, on top of that. Again, this is like the 4th or 5th time these guys have hit a cone here tonight. Oh, and then he whips it around and tail whips the 08. Just damn, giving him a little damage, too.
Eric Cheney in the chat just brought up something very interesting. A lot of drivers are worried about the longevity of the right front tire. Remember, tire changes are not allowed in this series, and a lot of drivers are on radio with their team saying they're worried about that right front tire. Remember, the new tire model does feature blown tires if it gets too bad. Could we see that come into play here? This is only our 3rd caution of this race. No doubt they're happy to get a break right now, but that right front tire might not make it. We're going to have to see if we can check in with some teams and see if we can get a current percentage at some of them. But that right front tire might become an issue here before too long.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see if we can't get, maybe possibly Eric Cheney can relay some information to us here. But yes, you know, and I can promise you this. If you've ever seen real life racing, when a car blows a right front tire and it looks like your first instinct was, did he not know which direction the track was turning? It's a left turn, not a right. This isn't a road course. You're going to see that. I've seen it happen one time on iRacing. And if I'm not mistaken, it was Jeff Stabnow that did it in practice.
I've had it happen to me.
Yes, it is an abrupt slam into the wall, nose first with the car, and it will definitely be 100% noticeable if it does happen.
You will see some drivers go shooting off into the wall, and we'll play a little game. We get to plug whichever billboard the car hits the wall in front of, if that is the case. This is going to be a very interesting final 40 laps.
Yeah, very interesting 40 laps. As pace car dives also 41 laps to be exact. Close enough. We'll go with 40 as the green flag is back out once again. And we are racing. It's still Travis Barnes out front, followed by Garber, Gill, Day, and Childress.
Caution is out immediately here.
And we are seeing the 03 slowed again. I'm not sure if this is the cause.
It's coming out of the pits. Not sure that's the cause of this one.
We'll take a look and see.
BJ Titterick has tapped for whatever happened, so BJ Titterick tapping on this one.
We'll jump over to BJ Titterick and see.
Pick up the 72 and see what happened on the LSR TV 4K Ultra HD replay. Caution was already out at this point.
What in the world happened? We're still pacing.
This is a restart. Yeah. Restart here. Oh no, Titterick just had his black flag cleared, so not sure what happened here. Titterick got an UL penalty and then it was rescinded.
Well, I'm wondering here, as you see these guys going by, could possibly right here, the 03, even though he's off the track, could him being down there as the leaders took the green, could that have triggered the caution?
I would be surprised because, again, we had this happen at Lanier in the first race. That is below the racing surface. That yellow line is below the racing surface. I would be very surprised if that is what happened in this case. As far as I'm aware, the yellow line is below the below the surface here. We'll have to see if we can maybe get some confirmation of what happened here. To figure it out. Right now the main communications is getting drivers who may have been penalized on that restart back around. Now this was not an admin caution, this was an iRacing caution, so something triggered the caution. We're still trying to figure out exactly what it was.
Yeah,
no sign of it.
No sign of what caused that caution, so we'll have to figure what we think might have caused it. And well, we're not the greatest at it, is we don't have that information. So all all we know is it tells us that we get radio communication, or we get notified that the caution was thrown by iRacing or an admin. We don't get told why, and we just have to kind of figure it out. Again, in this particular instance, the 03 is at the rear of the field, but that's the only thing we can really figure out is why the caution would have come out.
Don't have anything on the caution, but I do have a very interesting update from the 21 of Cole Raz, saying when he pitted, his right front tire was at 12% remaining. That was 25 laps ago. Green flag is in there. We still got 35 laps to go. Cole Raz was at 12% on the right front. These guys right front is going to be at 0 before we get to the end of this one, because that was 25 laps ago as we're back underway.
That tire wear definitely becoming a factor, and they may not have counted on this many green flag laps, continually just wearing down these tires over and over again. and it's definitely showing as tire wear down to 12%. Again, 25 laps ago. They've got to be down to at least, single digits, if not, borderline zero at this point, like you said.
So now, are we going to see guys maybe doing what Garber's doing here? Noticing Garber kind of spun the tires a little bit on the start, so he let Gill and Day go. So I'm wondering now if you're going to see guys really go into conservation mode here for these final few laps. Try to squeeze as much life out of that right front as you can. By the way, Isaiah Gill is celebrating a birthday today in the number 14, and he is up to second place here in this race trying to reel in Travis Barnes.
He definitely is, and you make that wonder, did Travis Barnes, beat and bang there on the back bumper of Cole Raz as much as he did, knowing these tires were wear to where he could get out front and they kind of coasted a little bit, not have to press things as hard. He's already up front. He has nothing else, nowhere else to go. That could have been a strategy on his behalf, just to get out there so he didn't have to try to get to the front and wear that tire down even more.
I tell you, either Garber is saving or he has absolutely nothing left on the 96, because he has fallen to 5th and is about to fall to 6th here on Huffines. And with just 30 laps to go, I think there's no more saving. So I think the right front is gone on that number 96. Now, when we say the tire is gone, we do not mean physically gone. What we mean when we say gone, for those who may be tuning in to their first sim race, is that tire has no life left in it, and it's just hanging on. Basically, just because the lug nuts are still on at this point.
Yeah,
no grip left in it whatsoever.
Yeah, and Ellie Musgrave, by the way, is in the pits and out of the race. And if you've ever been a kid back, well, no offense for this generation, but back in the day, the kids, you used to flatten your tire on your bike. And, just for fun, because it made you slide all over the place. That's what's going to happen when these tires hit zero. It's going to be like riding on a flat tire, because it is flat, and it's going to be devastating for whoever hits that wall, because it's going to be a hard lick.
Seth Frazier just had a black flag cleared because of a pit road violation as well, so it continues here. And look at the track now, though, Charles. It is much darker. We do have a cloud now. That's going to help just a little bit. Cloud cover is going to cool this track surface off just a little bit. It's 146 now, down from 149, but still is working its way down. Drivers are still communicating with their right front tires right now with race officials. What's going on with it? Barnes leading the way, Gill second, Day in third, Childress fourth.
And you have to think about this. I just kind of came across my mind here. Could they have thrown that caution on intentional, as Seth Frazier getting passed there by Isaiah Gill? Could they have thrown that caution to maybe give these tires a little bit to cool down some more?
Well, I would think that if it was an admin caution, but that was an iRacing caution. So if it was an admin caution, I would say maybe that's a possibility, but that was not an admin caution, so I'm not sure what happened there. But Barnes leading the way. Remember, Barnes has lost a race in the past on tire management before. He learned his lesson. Oh, we just got word from a driver. These are not pit road violations. These are meatball flags being blown. These drivers are blowing their right front tires now. They are experiencing tire loss right now. The tires are blowing out as we speak. Seth Frazier has one gone. Bart Ecker Jr., Bryce Beatty, Brock Denny. Meatball flags are going out. These tires are beginning to blow now with 20 laps to go. So, with that said, who's next to fall? Because meatball flags are being cleared. That's why you're seeing guys like Hector and Frazier way off the pace from what they were doing. So now, basically, we're going to be able to figure out who got, or who is blowing the tire by who gets their black flag clear. Casey Garber may have just lost his in the 96. Yes, Garber has a flat right front. Ryer Reynolds looks like he now has a flat right front. Drivers experiencing meatball flags because of tires. I think the 200 laps at this track was just a little too much to ask.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder. We know you can get a meatball, which is basically a black flag with a orange red dot in it. It's a meatball. That's what we call it. But it makes you wonder, when you get that black flag, Because if you consider the meatball flag when you have damage to your car is still able to run. However, it is highly damaged. So, are these tires officially blown at this point, or is that meatball coming in when you've got like 2%?
So that meatball is there because the tire is gone. It is blown. That is it. The meatball flag will not register until that tire blows. So these drivers who are having the meatball flags cleared out, Tidderick just had one cleared in the number 72. The tires are gone. They just want to go straight. It's just a matter of hanging on now and who managed to save long enough in the opening stages of this race. And if you're Travis Barnes right now, you got to be worried about it in the number 8 because you're leading the way. Isaiah Gill in second. He keyed up, worried about it a few laps ago. Tidderick just trying to get out of the way, but these guys have no control over it right now. Barnes in heavy lap traffic with blown right front tires going on. This could be disastrous if something goes wrong here. Barnes has got to be patient here.
Yeah, and that's the one thing right now. If you're Travis Barnes getting through this traffic, knowing these guys are having blown tire issues and that you could too, you do not, under any circumstances, want to try to pass someone on the high side. One, you're going to wear your tires a little more on the high side. Two, if they have a blown tire and they cannot turn, their goal is
that's going to be a pit road violation for Huffines right there. That's what we talked about. We actually finally caught one on camera of a pit road violation right there. Now, Aunt Kathy messages in the chat asking what is a meatball. Oh, she got it. Mechanical flag. Ellie Musgrave added her to the list as well. The mechanical black flag. Another term for that is a meatball flag because of the red circle in it. A lot of drivers have coined it the meatball flag. Caden Anderson just had one. 10 cars left on the lead lap right now, and they're all just trying to make it 10 more laps. Can Barnes do it? Can Gill hold on?
Yeah.
Who will hold on for 10 more laps?
And you want to see what Barnes is seeing right now? Probably, making him, in his race suit. This is what is in front of him right now.
Lap traffic.
Your race leader, Travis Barnes, and he is just praying to everything that he has that these guys do not have any blown tires.
Dylan Huffines just blew his right front tire. He got the black flag. I believe Dan Lowther's keying up to just say, let Barnes go. Yes, he is. Tires still up on the 8 of Barnes. We have had several drivers blow their right front tires, and they're right now just trying to limp it home. But when we're getting reports, they are going like crazy right now. When those tires go, they just want to go straight in the corners. So these guys with the tires that are being blown out are going several seconds slower than the rest of the field right now, just because their tires are completely shot and they're just having to drive it insanely patiently right now. And if you're Travis Barnes, you're just hoping that you don't have that problem, because it can end in a bad day and hand it to Isaiah Gill or Jason Day right now.
Yeah, and one reason I think too, Greg, that we haven't seen those, dramatic slamming into the wall like I figured we would, is one thing I did not factor in as we got 5 to go, is these guys are only doing 70 to 90 miles an hour. When I saw it, it was a Cupper truck car on a mile and a half when they're doing 180. So caution is out.
This is going to help the guys who haven't blown a tire yet.
Shane
Quinn in the 4 going around. This is going to set up a green-white checkered finish. LSR TV 4K Ultra HD replay.
And Aiden
Anderson and Shane Quinn, old buddies, getting together again.
Do we dare say that might have been a little bit on the intentional side, maybe?
Well, Anderson tapped. Let's take another look. From the overhead replay. Remember,
Anderson goes way, way down to let the 40 by.
Lots of space. Well, Anderson tapped. Yeah, that's all we'll say on the matter is he tapped.
He did tap.
All right, so, well, this has just got interesting.
That is
So I think lesson learned. Next year, if we do come back to Langley, 150 laps is about perfect for this race.
Yes, 150 laps.
Maybe 125. Maybe even 125, because remember, Cole Raz came down 60 laps ago. He came down on lap 140, and his tire was at 12%. So 150 would be pushing it.
And if we must go 200 laps, let's give him one set of tires in the pits. You pick when to run it. I think that would really make it interesting to decide when you come down and take that set of tires.
Either that or just make it mandatory competition caution at the halfway point, lap 100. But we're not the ones that decide that. But, for future reference, what to think about when it comes to Langley.
Yeah, I'm the opposite.
On the right front.
If we know these tires are about 12%, 10 to 12% at 150, I say we run 200 laps and have one mandatory caution on lap 50, and that is where you can take tires. So that means you
just want chaos.
That leaves 150 laps. So
all right, so Charles woke up and chose violence today. That's what I get out of that.
Well, it wasn't a dirt racetrack and getting hit in the head with dirt clods. So, I mean, there may be some things rattled loose in there. I don't know.
Ooh, this is interesting. Fatback, who's spotting for Casey Garber, Bryce Clark, mentioned something of what some of our drivers are trying to do here. Some of our drivers are trying to run up in the marbles under this caution to get some rubber built up on those tires to try to make it to the end here. Interesting. I've never actually seen here.
That would make sense. I mean, if you have rubber on the tires and they're fresh, it's going to make them slicker and crap. But if you don't have any rubber on there, well, that was your rubber at one point, right? And it's going to be one lap to go. There's your CRN 1 to go. White flag's in the air.
Here we go. Green, white, checkered finish, I believe.
Oh, it's finishing. That was it.
Oh, this is it.
That's going to be your winner, Travis Barnes.
Yeah, Travis Barnes getting the win. Wow. All right. Well, they're still going right now. Yeah, they're going for it right now. This is going to be the checkered right here. Travis Barnes is going to come by and get the win. Sweeping the night. Takes the series lead in victories. But I don't think he has enough left to do a burnout. But wow, this was an interesting one. Isaiah Gill, happy birthday, Isaiah Gill, coming home with a second place. And how about Jason Day finally getting on the podium in the 52?
Yeah, what a run for him. We'll be talking to these guys, but man, what a run. Travis Barnes, 2 in a row here, Langley and Lanier. And again, I don't see how he has any tires left to do a burnout there. As you can see, the front, it looks like one side is drooping a little bit more than the other.
Yeah, I don't know how he has enough left to do a burnout, but he's doing it. Winner of back-to-back, winning the Atomic Screen Printing doubleheader, both of them. Travis Barnes putting on the show. Well, let's key up the Sawblade.com unofficial results for the second time here tonight. Travis Barnes parks it in victory lane. Isaiah Gill, happy birthday to him, comes home second. Jason Day, best finish of the season, in third. Josh Childress, and how about Troy Tarbuck, up and down day, winds up in the top 5. Once it's all said and done, Josh Washington, Chris Carroll, Shane Quinn, Levi Allen, and Dan Lowther, your top 10.
And running out the top 20, going to be Casey Garber, Dylan Huffines, Brock Denny, Bart Hector Jr., Bryce Beatty, Seth Frazier, Jake Podan, BJ Tidrick, Briar Reynolds, and Caden Anderson. And last 2 drivers here is 3. Going to be Ellie Musgrave, winning finish for her for sure. Cole Raz and Gary Smith. And again, a lot of these guys, potentially down there because of the tire issue.
Yeah. Whoa, Isaiah Gill, he got lucky because he just dropped out of the session, did not disconnect. His throughput fell through. Isaiah Gill, second place, he just got lucky. Well, yeah. When we come back, we'll key up with our podium here tonight, and we'll wrap it up after a fun one here at Langley. You're watching the Atomic Screen Printing doubleheader here on LSR TV, your home for sim racing.
ETE Reman is the world's best remanufacturer of transmissions for import and domestic cars and trucks. Based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, our customers are repair shops, auto parts stores, dealerships, and distributors. And with 6 nationwide warehouses, we're where and when you need us. So when you're looking for a transmission that is like new, only better, instill confidence and install ETE Remake.
Welcome back to Langley, Virginia, everybody. After a very interesting finish to the race, here with right front tires going and dropping like flies at the end, it's Travis Barnes getting the sweep. We will not be able to catch up with birthday boy Isaiah Gill as he's having connection issues like we mentioned, so we will not be able to catch up with second place Isaiah Gill. So with that, Charles Wooten is going to go down and catch up with the guy who finished third on the evening, a guy we've been watching all year long, finally breaking through the podium, Jason Day in the 52.
Well, here we are down here with the 52 of Jason Day. Jason, you get third place here tonight. A long race for sure. Only a handful of cautions, not the 22 I was predicting, but a lot of green flag racing and tire wear obviously coming into play here. What was that right front like here on that car?
The last probably 15 laps, it was all I could do to hold on to it. I think I was down to 20% on the right front. It was really tight.
Well, definitely, we heard all kinds of reports of people losing the right fronts. You know, at what point did you realize I need to be a little conservative on this tire? It's not liking where we're going. And then, you know, did you have to really slow down at all, or did you just go and do what you had to do and hope for the best?
I didn't think anything of it till the first guy come on the radio and said he blew the right front. So then I backed off a little bit. I knew I had enough kind of space in between me and fourth place that I could just kind of ride it out and hope for my first top 3.
Well, you did that. You got the top 3 here tonight. So congrats on that. A well-fought battle here with the short track, the driver talent here, the tire issue going on. You did it. You got third place. And any sponsors in that car you need to thank?
Of course, Man Excavating is on my real race car too, and all my teammates in Canada and my five Kings teammates also on my other race team.
All right, again, congrats on third place, and that leads us to Travis Barnes, who's sitting side by side with Greg Renzis. Fortunately, we don't have Isaiah Gill.
Yeah, but so nice we get to do it twice. Travis Barnes, second win of the evening, third of the season. You have taken sole possession of most wins on the season in one shot from 1 to 3. And we were talking before we went back on air here. You said you were good for another 30 laps on the right front tire there.
Yeah, for sure. I was ready to push it if need be. I was pretty lax all night, trying to keep the tires on it. As you know, I had to learn hard from North Wilkesboro, so you live and you learn, and obviously learned a lot.
And yeah, let's go back and talk about that, because we hit on that a couple of times, that you learned your lesson at North Wilkesboro, and this is not the first time we've seen you do that either. Since then, your win at Milwaukee also on tire management. The great runs at Lucas Oil and Irwindale, tire management, and then the win here tonight at Langley, tire management. Didn't get a chance to ask you because we had to hurry up, but Lanier, was that tire management coming into play also, or was that mainly for this one?
I figured Lanier, we'd have to save tires. I did like an 8-lap run and ran down 4% on the right rears. So I wasn't going to push it hard at all at Lanier. I was just going to wait for the race to come back into me. It did in both races, so I'm pretty thankful for that.
Well, definitely taking the lesson learned at North Wilkesboro, you have transferred it over to a very successful second half of the season here. 3 wins. By the way, Travis, that for this sweep moves you into second all-time in series victories, sole possession of that stat with 6 now on the series, second only to Jason Berg in the number 21. One more race to go. It's New Smyrna coming up here in a couple of weeks before we wrap it up for another summer, season 4. But man, 6 wins in 2 years. You're the winningest driver in that span. That's got to feel really good knowing how strong you've been in your 2 seasons here.
Yeah, it feels good. Just the consistency isn't there. I wish I could be running up top for points right now, but just isn't as consistent as I wanted to be. But we're getting wins, and that's all I can do for now.
Well, chance to pick up win number 4 coming up in 2 weeks at New Smyrna. But Travis, back-to-back wins. You already got to thank them once, but once again, you're in victory lane, so you got to thank your sponsors.
All right, I got Capital Sign and Awning, DNS Light Truck and Auto, No Clue Racing, Jackie Lee Franks for all my talent, Barrett Utilities LLC, Tim Garsky Construction, Robert Richardson, and Kyle Matthews for being my crew chief, Devin Matthews for all the help on the real world cars, and Ryan McLeod and Shane Houston. I'd also like to give a shout out to Bryce Beatty for letting me build his paints. He's let me learn a lot, so it's nice to have people run the paints you make. So.
Travis Barnes, 3rd win of the season and a great performance both nights. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, Charles, can you believe we are getting set to preview our season finale coming up from New Smyrna? It feels like just yesterday we started things off with the race at USA, and we were like, wow, this is going to be an awesome year. It has been an awesome year. We got one more to go. First, let's recap this doubleheader tonight before we move into the preview. What'd you think of 400 laps tonight?
Definitely a long night, going on 3 hours, and a midnight special. It's 2 minutes till midnight here in Central. It was a good race. I'm definitely glad we took on the series, even though it's coming to an end. It's a little bittersweet as of next week or week after when we do get to it. As for the next race, I'm really looking forward to that one. It's the new super late model and New Smyrna, so it's a week of new here for the iRacing Northwest Tour.
Coming up here, the last race of the Gen 4 bodies on the super late model. Next up, when we come back to Smyrna, Gen 5 makes its debut for the season finale. But we got ourselves a busy week coming up here on LSR TV. Tomorrow night, the Northwest Racing Series kicks off with their Daytona 225. Tuesday night, we're doing a little road course racing, a little street course racing with the CRN Outlaw Esports Tour coming up from Long Beach here Tuesday night. Wednesday, back with the Northwest Racing Series. The Truck Series kicks off their season as well. So a busy week coming up here on LSR TV. This is the first of 4 straight nights with the broadcast. We hope you'll be along for all 4 of them coming up here the next 4 days. Charles, I know you're looking forward to being a very, very busy man for the next couple of weeks. I'm excited for it as well. Can't wait to see what the Northwest Racing Series, second season of the Cup Series, season 8 of the Truck Series coming up, and of course, the second road course race of the season for the Outlaw Esports CRN Tour. Busy week coming up here on LSR TV, so we got to get ready for that. But for us here in LSR TV tonight, it's time to say goodbye. For Charles Wooten in the booth and alongside with me tonight, I'm Greg Rentz. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We will see you coming up tomorrow night for Daytona in the Northwest Racing Series.